Papa.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Yes, this young lady came here with a pain in her shoulder. She testifies that she's had this pain for 2 years and she couldn't lift her hand. But even before you ask that they should do what they haven't done before, she started her
Let me say some MPP activists have been complaining of Meta restricting their accounts, their posts, pulling down most of their activities without prior notice or anything. The Speaker, and what is also worrying is that there are no remedy or no avenue for them to complain of such activities. Some of them may be fake accounts, we agree, but those who are genuine do not even have an avenue to complain. I'm asking, won't the CSA, be used moving forward to, particularly to say, clamp down, victimize politically activists who want to express their opinion against government or against the ruling party? Thank you.
Yes, Minister.
Right Honourable Speaker, the Cybersecurity Authority under His Excellency John Dramani Mahama has absolutely no interest in clamping down on dissenting voices or criticisms of the government. And so we have actually no policy of clamping down or shutting down pages. In fact, the Cybersecurity Authority of Ghana has no control over the platforms and does not have the ability to shut down pages on their own. All shutdown of accounts are done by the platform owners. So if a post is taken down on WhatsApp or on Instagram or Facebook by Meta, that's done by Meta's own community standards. It means that the content of that post breached the community standards. That is not an activity of the Cybersecurity Authority. If a post is taken down on TikTok, again, that will be done by ByteDance. That is not controlled. Those platforms are not controlled by the Cybersecurity Authority. So I'm grateful for the question. It allows us to educate the public to say that the government is not responsible for taking down social media accounts, and President Mahama's government is extremely liberal and open to criticism, be they constructive or obstructive. Thank you.
Yes, Honourable Member.
Down to your left, Papa.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Yes, this young lady came here with a pain in her shoulder. She testifies that she's had this pain for 2 years and she couldn't lift her hand. But even before you ask that they should do what they haven't done before, she started her
Kenneth, would Jesus be happy with you on the way you've managed the economy? Finally.
I think it's an issue of willingness and obedience to what Christ would like us to do. Honest, good job done over that period, yes. Holy Spirit guiding us to the things we do, yes. Am I confident that He's leading us in the right direction? Unequivocally. I think difficult times His power will emanate, and I'm very confident about where He will take us.
So Jesus is happy with you with how you've managed the economy?
It's very difficult to think that one will be holy enough for total acceptance. You're constantly praying that you have the courage and the spirit to go on. But more importantly, in all of this technical stuff, It's a clear love for country and understanding of what somebody like me could become finance minister, and therefore who in Fantiakwa could also do that. And therefore, what should we be doing 18 hours a day to ensure we give that opportunity to people to be able to get to the levels that we are.
Ken,
so
would Jesus be happy with you on how you manage the economy?
It's up to Jesus to declare.
That's what Jesus to declare.
I can do the best that I can, but I'm very just honored and blessed to have this position, and mine is to obey and do the best I can, with His guidance.
What is the difference between the ordinary thief and a political thief? Number one, the ordinary thief steals your money, your bag, your watch, and your jewelry, isn't it? But the political thief steals your future, your career, your education, your health, and your business. Number two, the hilarious part is that the ordinary thief will choose whom to rob. But you are the one who choose the political thief to rob you. Because we choose them. We vote them. We blindly say we are not blind. Who is deceiving who? The ridiculous part of the whole issue is that we will fight to defend and protect our belongings from the ordinary thief. Is it not? But we fight each other to defend and protect the political thief. Is that not what we do? Thugs will be fighting themselves to protect those that are stealing our career, stealing our joy, stealing our health, stealing our success. What a shame.
The result of the vote. So you can actually vote for a party which can punish you. Yes. And they can punish you and create hardship for you, but because you see it like supporting Olympics or Accra House of Folk, you still support, although the policies are not favoring you. It's not about party colors. A nation becomes what its citizens vote for. Sometimes we pray, we say, let's pray for the nation, that God will bless the nation. No, we have to pray that the citizens will make intelligent choices. Because if the citizens don't make intelligent choices, God is not going to come and rule Ghana for us.
Inform me, Pa. You win it. Inform me. You win it. At the moment. At the moment, Cecilia Minoka say, Abo say, Abo for no catch them say, Nipa 26,000 now to Cecilia.
26,000.
Cecilia Minoka say,
Kuma, who you did say, but I should be repeating.
Yes, Abo for na some of them can say Cecilia no, and Nipa 26,000 now to, and Nipa 26,000. Ote, the Nipa 26,000. Sisiano, yeah, number 16,000. Yeah, number 16,000. Sisia Menoka say. Son above for Neka, above for.
Sometimes we call him apostle, sometimes we call him pastor, sometimes we call him prophet, and he's a teacher. When he speaks, I always say that there are many prophets. There are those who see and can say. He sees and declares with precision, but he has the power and the grace to cause that which he has seen to come to pass and happen. And if it is bad, sometimes we call him apostle, sometimes we call him pastor, sometimes we call him prophet, and he's a teacher. When he speaks, I always say that there are many prophets. There are those who see and can say. He sees and declares with precision, but he has the power and the grace to cause that which he has seen to come to pass and happen. And if it is bad, he has the grace by the message of God.
Elema wrong so for Muslim Babia, now so much, now we are my whole. Now we are no more jamu. I was for some more to the same as a say, we were license and bet my Jeffrey in summer. What last I can yet, never Musa Boy. Can I walk it in which way? A drunk it into a Yanaka was here because if man can see a power. Cassia power, your super. the whole Africa, mining company are soon a football can any new ones. Now, some here, some champagne is there. Some more 2 million margin, mining company be some men and MP in a jail. But can you one I can about what yet? What you say a year? I wish I for and sang you about trouble. Now, one so no more tomorrow. Now, can you on the young boy? One more a year, machine for me. Now, those one so, and not transform and swarm. And one more in the middle of Canyano, a Hamawino, net teacher. Now, I'm so for the document to chronic identity. Now, Mucha, a teacher, and a Mucha for Mamma. No opposition. And now, Karimunum at Taya, and you must have when you're a baby corn. Or Monkaya, a 30 down with Campo to Roma, Mamma. And I'm the coaching minister. A Uboku Prempe, now poor, one away minister for energy. Now for the poor says here. I say more when transform and I hold this up. To my transform as soon. Now, if I'm support to Minim said that I'm saying, and I didn't transform. So, Crown, and I'm saying you want to transform and I will have a super. Because you transform, I can see you, and I'm the cacao so form. Make it by Anosono. Will by them consume. Because see transform and baby of your galamsey. Baby of my young boy, baby of machines, one of the transform and could see. I will show for Obio, on percent by Yagma. 7% you man because can the transform about what you be transform and labor say me and to see transform and baby now obia ko din konkonsa kire sunyane for say transform and am begin corona be transform akaka sako se sia rom so kwa transform and kese e wo no e bo 700 kg ya che so ke obia busa say ah na corona so say e dey transform akese se ko obi akodi nkonkonsa se galamsey tina meye me de transform an na galamsey nya me yedi ana so bi nya me tuaka ana yaye nya na mpo pa me yeye transform na obi ye we ya no pesa ade ne sei nya ni ye no ope ene every before na o ma say ade ni akoton ade na awie no on pesa o mo dan na aye se me ana me makofa chan afo aba na chane me kanane minim chana for bibia na da muso am de license mo minim ko bibia na menya ban na opuka tese me chase say na chane obi am wo opposition me wo opposition no MPP for Germany MPP for the make court if you want change e group ba bi no me court to ada na ma court to brother na ma court to gara na ma court Yawada, Efiada, every day we can afford. Now, Papa, the same by the Papa Muslim 5 days in a week here. We have been answering to me now in Hokaka. Every before I so they 2 days after so 3 days the day we have a court. Now, what you be out? Me, I'm your Kandapa. Kandapa, the Slam. Me, I'm a shepherd, Daddy. Let's say, you know about you. To court the baby, woman called Dako, the corner Dako in a week. Say, never be out. Kandapa can say, now, court no. Ya chasing you know, I was at the 74. Uber Costa. What could they get through some as the answer? I could anything I know my yes, I know. Yemen Kwan on me, sir. Amen. What will you make? I call with Timachi. A year to mamma. One will be active. You keep and one in the corner. Feed them Yakara. One in the corner, you put your coat of white chair about it. Yeah, Chamet and Kwan. I could demand now what you know. None will put me out. Kama made a now of him. Niagara Gamma was now caught. Musa Draba, you didn't call court. Kokama court.
That will come into your ministry. So I thank God for this opportunity. What have I learned in my young life? I'm in my very early 40s, really very early 40s. But I see that opportunities must always be seized. We must always seize opportunities. You know, we are aware that everybody is blessed. It is very, very true. You are pastors and you even know more than I am that when God created us, God actually blessed us from the start that we should be fruitful, multiply, and take dominion over all of the earth. So the blessing is already there. But you see, the difference between successful people and people who are not successful is opportunity and how you are able to seize it to your advantage. This is why Solomon mentions in Ecclesiastes, is it 9 verse 11, 12, he says that the race is not to who, it is, or food to whoever. In fact, he goes on and on. He is trying to say that people are successful not just because they were meant to be successful, but time and opportunity, or others say chance, happens to them all. Time and opportunity would happen to all of us sat here today. Time and opportunity happened to me. As you are sitting here today, time and opportunity has happened to you because you've spent time here.
Even Dr. Baumia on wishes President Mama fairly. I don't call in a core context. Because and a be a Yamia and Domina Chinebi, also party bar, also back to us, Sunset, and for and a channel to us. Nanny Patiman will need beat him shot a bomb pie, said. He wishes he could have Cobeniano and Penintia said. Netiana will do what Ubenya. I don't know, Slenya, me permanent fears, I would have a far brantia yaba. Why Giatus will be 2 my name. One on a titty, what David, one on a sign.
OSP must and we would always work together with Attorney General. Attorney General in turn should hold our hands. We are working for one republic, one Ghana. The main perpetrator from our standpoint, the main perpetrator had no intention of returning back to the country. Of course, he had left the country earlier in the year during the transition. Now we should place this in proper context because we've attracted some flag that why did we allow him to go? Mr. Misa, he left before 7 January. Between 1st, I know there's that date, but I'm not going to mention it. All I'm saying is between 1st and 6th January, he had left. Who was in power during those few days? And we don't control the airports. We don't control the exit. The OSP doesn't control the exit points. But we are taking flag day in and day out. Why did we allow him? Let me put it this way. His cousin was president. Let's face facts. Before John Dramani Mahama was sworn in on 7 January, Nana Akufo-Addo was the president. That was his cousin. He had kept him in the office for more than 7 years. I said when he left, the president was Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo.
Okay.
At the time he left, we were not getting the cooperation at the time from other security agencies.
You weren't getting any cooperation?
No, we're not.
You had asked for them?
Oh, we asked for all that, but we were not. It was as if there was a policy of block the OSP out. That was what we were facing, and that was the circumstances under which we were being expected to perform. I think I've complained about these things over national security. No, at the time, the situation is different now. National Signals Bureau, no, at the time, the situation is different now. National Intelligence Bureau, 0. At the time, the situation is different now. I mean, the security setup was stacked up against the OSP, so we will not be able to perform our job. This was the situation in which we found ourselves. And I'm being asked how I let Ken Ofori-Atta through this. We didn't watch him leave. We were powerless. That is the truth. We were powerless. We saw him leave, but we couldn't prevent him from leaving at the airport because we couldn't. Now we can rely on the Ghana Immigration Service to block someone. Now we can rely on national security.
Before then you couldn't.
To block someone. Then, at the time he left, you call up immigration, no one will even bother to respond to you. You write to immigration, no one will even bother to respond to you. And I'm saying this unabashedly. That was the situation we found ourselves in. Once again, before we put him on the Interpol red notice, we know he left the state on 1 or 2 occasions. But we believe he's in the state. And we know the area in which he lives. The person lives in the United States. Kisia Jabin, Office of the Special Prosecutor, even the Ghana Army. We can't just go into the US, spring him up and bring him. That is what Ghanaians need to understand.
Yeah, and
we
that is
are going through a certain very tedious extradition process to bring him back. That's why I said. That's why I was joking about it. That if he lived in Agbogba, I would have. He'll be with us as we are speaking. But since he is in a foreign country, I cannot put a date on it. And even then, the central authority in respect of extradition matters in the US could decide one thing. The President of the United States can step on it and block it and say no. You get it? So far as he is in the United States of America, we cannot put a date on it that we are bringing him today, we are bringing him tomorrow. OSP must and we would always work together with Attorney General.
Government is broke, government is broke. The people are spending billions to go inside the government that is broke. Have you ever seen a minister who resigned because government is broke before? Government has no money. Have you ever seen a governor who said, ladies and gentlemen, when I was elected, I thought the government had money. Now I discover government has no money, I resign. Have you ever seen it? Government has no money, but they are bringing money out at election time. Where is that money coming from? So they are lying. What is happening is that there are 2 types of wicked people in government. Type 1, they eat current money. Any money they find in government, they will eat it. They are wicked about that one. There is type 2. Type 2, they eat current money and future money. They will say, my term will end next year. When I leave, how will I eat money? Let me borrow money now and borrow money of the future and eat it now.
Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. Thank you very much for joining us on the show. This is Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. Today is the 5th of November 2025, and this is the day the Lord has made. Indeed, we're glad in it. We're back to join the nation's conversation on the big issues that are making the rounds in our dear country, Ghana. And so, when it's a big thanks to the Almighty God for giving us that rare privilege. My name is Audu Moro, and thanks very much for tuning to the show. I'll go straight ahead and look at the news paper headlines for today, and the Daily Graphic this morning is reporting the 2020-2024 elections violence. 21 culprits face trial, 15 deaths, 39 injuries recorded. Graphic has paid dues to National Development statesmen. 12.16 billion cedis MDA payment claims rejected. A verification window opens until November 7. State Housing Company takes steps to recover outstanding debts. The Ghanaian Times, electoral violence from 2020-2024, government to compensate victims, Interior Minister, integrate internal auditors into that's GIFMIX, basically, Professor Tuguba. Global cooperation crucial to curbing illicit financial flows, President Mahama. Rice farmers renew call for adequate investment in local production, and the soldiers accused of assaulting civilians at Basyonde. And that's with today's Ghanaian Times. That the Daily Guide says 2020-2024 election violence, police, military linked to 7 deaths. Parliament, media must deepen collaboration. Speaker, MPA extortion case. OSP freezes over 100 million cedis assets. AG files. Akufo-Addo EU delegation discuss development. The Insight. SMG condemns foreign meddling in Sudan, calls for African solidarity with its war-ravaged people. World Diabetes Day sparks national health awakening. Report blames police, military for 2020-2024 election clashes that claimed 7 lives. GDLA calls for renewal of all land leases in Gas State. People, In the U.S., go hungry as Trump spends millions to invade Venezuela. Cleric proposes new approach to end Galamsey menace in Ghana. The Informer. UK's Telegraph blackmails Ghana over Foriata incites the West against Mahama government. Termination of SML GRA contracts. There's OSP averts dubious $173 million, 2.6 billion cedis payment. NDC's Galamsey promise haunts government as NIMOS faces resistance. Cybersecurity bill threatens free speech, GJA. And there's GRA boss, others under OSP probe. The Inquisitor. SML probe, OSP summons GRA big men. And there's the editorial, Galamsey narratives getting too ugly. 13th commemorative Adua for Aliu Mahama on November 16, 2025. Ghana's economy has stabilized, Veep. The Herald. Police military linked to 7 deaths in 2020 and 2024 elections. Ajmamenu and Okoboy's $100 million evil at Health Ministry out. Mahama orders forensic audit into $245 million All Africa Games expenditure. Indian businesswoman secures orders against Ghana Web in defamation case. Injured worker drags Domod Aluminium to court. Ambassador Victor Smith courts American investors with Ghana's economic renewal. The Ghanaian publisher. Minority accuses ministers of disrespect in parliament, and there's Pambros dispute. Lands Commission confirms Tangway's ownership. Bamia sacrifices can't be ignored. MP to NPP. CID takes over NIMOS assault case. The Accra Times. Reported attacks on NIMOS team. I won't shield any MP if, of course, comes a big if. Speaker Bagwing. Help protect Ghana's maritime integrity. Mahama calls for support from France towards peaceful resolution of Russian-Ukraine war. IPU appoints Bagwing as member of task force. Call on NPP decision makers. Let's embrace Paul Afoko. Chumesi can come. And also partner Ghana in her new era of economic renewal. Victor Smith calls on U.S. investors. Parliament observes practice and procedure week. The Daily Statesman. Investor confidence wanes under Mahama. Cybersecurity bill could muscle journalist GJA. I am for peace as investor. Ghanaian Chinese businessman defends fights for Bawi land. Minority slums ministers over persistent absenteeism. The Custodian. GJA demands answers on Ahmed Swale case, and as Bamia tops all in NPP race, Amankwa Menu declares, I am protecting my land at Pambros, Tangwe. As minority flees Mahama's ministers for deserting parliament. The Daily Post is the last but one, isn't it? 21 suspects identified in election violence probe, 9 arrested, warrants issued for arrest of others, Interior Minister. And as Ghana's president wants to prove Ghana and all of Africa can stand on his own, says Time, the international magazine. Wuntumi's double Galamsey case is adjourned as prosecution flips Akonta GM into state witness. President Mahama orders forensic audit into 13th All Africa Games management. And then the Business and Financial Times is the last but not the least, certainly. It says a real anchor of CDLIs and productivity of industries and people. Fidelity, DMB, Kwabena, Boateng. APSA advocates for debt capital markets instruments as viable financing alternatives to corporates. Non-interest banking to ensure secular integrity, market neutrality, Professor Gachi. And as digital realty expands presence in West Africa with First Data Center, aims to enhance regional connectivity, supporting Ghana's growing digital economy. SNIS shifts to fixed income targets, turnaround of loss-making investment. And this prestige project attracts more African diaspora buyers. All right, so these are the banner headlines for today. Please stay with us. Keep watching Good Morning Ghana.
my friends, my name is Kelkit Toothpaste.
Wow.
I was made to be gentle on your gum but protected. I will protect your teeth from cavity, make your teeth whiter, stronger, keep your mouth fresh all day. And best of all, I'm strawberry flavored. So put on a smile and try me.
That's amazing.
Just try me. That's my job.
If you say so, jump on my brush. Makes your teeth stronger, chicky whiter, chicky stronger. Yay! You did it!
I'm glad you like your new toothpaste. Don't forget to brush both day and night.
Kelkits, happy smile.
Yes, next. Hey, Nadia Benson, Asamo.
Me didn't tum. Mr. Friendly Calico, just call me cockroach.
Now, Mr. Friendly once now.
Hey, that's you. Impruka. Yeah. Captain was key to double the action. Me did this sasso spray. Mr. Friendly sasso quell. Yeah, go to my sasso tell you now.
Come on, Tom Preko.
Oh, Jose, and I made the SMS. Cannon Pano, Nasana, Michiana, what me. A drain I didn't quano, Kingdom Garlic Bitters. No, more benefiting. Me benefiting wine. Also, what told dear?
Abrewa, the smile, Abrente, Mishuve. One antique crown our bread. No Kingdom Garlic Bitters, and any capsules. Nanya, what ya brebia.
Kingdom Garlic Bitters, and the capsules.
Assembly,
and even when I'm when I say, send your name, your wife complain one personal. Kingdom Ginseng Power Capsules, and tea. Say, see, I'm password.
Kingdom Ginseng Power Capsules. A many genius from Debefi, Abrebia. Or Babia or De Puahano. Edro Bakupa, we hear tremendous capsules. Tremendous capsules. SS Yuma, your Bessima. And no, you when you be a ton Rubia. Kingdom Heber, no challenger.
Kwame and his uncle are almost here.
Wait a minute. This one too, your friend Kwame.
Wait, Kwame. As in the same Kwame again?
Yes, Mommy.
I'm the second coming. Into all this tension just to reintroduce that broke boy from Kaswa.
Why would you deceive the family like this again?
Now I understand the whole delay. Troll from Kaswa, dear. Why wouldn't he be late? Or be late, of course.
Star 712 hash, star 712 hash. You go feel the luckiest. Copy from Georgia be luckiest. From not the cause she be luckiest. Yeah, you go feel be luckiest. No matter why you're luckiest. Everybody go be the luckiest.
God Kwame!
Send your God the apple boom. If you're poor, so would the coming of the Son of Man be.
Hey.
Is that his car?
Ha! Even now, your shadow the way designer.
I use my own mouth to reject him. Oh, this is my mouth. Look at that.
Kwame, my son. Now, tell me the truth. How did this all happen?
Oh, Mommy, simple direction. Mr. Goodluck no check me way.
Yeah,
man.
Easy car. Or dial star 712 hash.
The devil is a liar.
He picked his ticket and entered his lucky 5-digit number.
I'm his birthday.
Oh, how romantic.
And he followed the prompt. Yes. And then boom, confirmation test.
One quick, pick 5 numbers for me, okay? I'm feeling like 7.
Dial star 712 hash. Choose your ticket. Enter your lucky number. Follow the prompt and let destiny handle the
You see how they love you now?
Yo, baby, our family pay my seminar. Before December, may release a motivational album. Patapa, my super.
This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform.
West Africa's soil yields global treasures. Cocoa, cashew, shea, and cotton. They power industries across the world. Yet for our region, the greatest value still slips away, exported raw, taking with it jobs, industries, and the promise of shared prosperity. The real question is no longer what we produce, but who captures the final reward. True prosperity lies in the value we add right here at home. That's why the 4th edition of the EBIT President's Roundtable will gather the architects of Africa's prosperity and Africa's transformation to answer one defining question. How do we finance the journey from the farm to the port? Join Dr. George Ejekum Donkor and some leading experts as EBIT leads a high-level dialogue to unlock financing, empower local industries, and turn West Africa's raw potential into industrial power. Be part of the conversation redefining our economic future, live on Metro TV, DSTV Channel 277, and EBIT platforms on November 24, 2025 at 11 a.m. EBIT President's Roundtable 2025, from the farm to the court, financing the value chains of West Africa's cash crops. My name is Anita Erskine, and it will be an honor to host you.
You're still watching Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. My name is Audu Moro, and my guests are already seated to join us kickstart our conversations, the conversation about Ghana. Yeah, conversations about Ghana and what is good for Ghana, and would go hard after anything that's bad for Ghana. So that's the ethos of this program. Anyway, so my guests are here. Collins Adumako Mensah is the MP for the Ifija Kwabre North. Ifija Kwabre North is the MP for that particular constituency. He's also a former Deputy Minister for Energy. Yes, he's here. Collins, good morning.
Good morning, Moro.
And good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Happy belated birthday.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I saw the videos. I saw you and your beautiful, adorable children. We were wishing you a happy birthday.
Yes.
You know, and so it was just you and your family finish?
Some few friends passed by the house.
Okay. I didn't get an invitation.
Oh, it was not a party. Just some few friends who came to the house to wish me a happy birthday. Yeah.
Okay. Did Lanko call you to wish you a happy birthday? Because you were trending.
Don't put me to trouble. Don't put me to trouble.
Why did you? Even if you don't invite me, it's okay. But you didn't invite me.
Don't put me to trouble.
That's not right. It's not proper. You know, and so on auspicious days like this,
I'll join a Thursday Kinky party tomorrow.
I mean, I don't know about any Kinky party.
Okay, Ankwesi knows about it.
Knows about the Kinky party. Ankwesi, so you've also been hiding things from you, Ankwesi.
Oh, nothing to hide.
I've just heard about some Kinky party on Thursdays.
Which is it?
He says that you know. He says you know about it. Uncle Kwesi.
Yes,
anyway, so Mr. Kwesi Pratt is a seasoned journalist and also an elderly statesman, former managing news editor of the Insight newspaper. Uncle Kwesi, it's good to see you once again, and hope the family and everybody's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's. There's a lot to talk about today, yeah. There's a lot to talk about, but first of all, how's the constituency?
Also, it's fine. I should be there over this weekend. Usual funerals here and there, and to touch base.
Okay.
With the constituency, but as of this morning, I've not received any bad news.
Okay.
Everything seems to be smooth so far.
Okay.
Because this is fun.
How's the sports project and the sports agenda?
It's doing well.
Something that you're very
I just got
about.
some good news from Ghana Gas.
Okay.
Initially the entire project was supposed to have some stands.
Okay.
But the only construction that took place at the time was just the TEF.
Okay.
But I got some interesting news that it's likely that they'll be coming back to complete the stands for me. So that is good news for the constituency. But yes, it's being put to very good use. I see a lot of the it's located around some schools, JSS, primary schools, and they use that as part of their sports activities. So it's been put to good use. I'm happy about it.
Okay. All right. I mean, I just briefly, something that's excited me this morning. I mean, this Democrats chap, what's the name? Zoran Mandani, who was winning the mayoral, race in America, and to think that is the first time a black, actually a Muslim, black African, it's the black American, and a Muslim winning that seat, and the conversation which has already started that something very interesting is beginning to happen in America. There's a chap who's been extremely critical of Israel and their policies, and so there was a fear that the Israelis would work against them, and it was coming against a very, very formidable Republican candidate. And so for some people, the Mandani's win is an indication of maybe a new dawn in American politics and perhaps global politics, where the Israelis are beginning to lose their dominance and their influence as far as global politics is concerned. I don't know whether it is too early for people to draw that kind of conclusion, or indeed something very interesting is happening.
Well,
just this briefly before we come back home.
This morning when I got up throughout midnight, I was just watching CNN and Fox and all the other news, and it seemed to be a very good night for the Democrats. Not just in New York, but in Virginia. Muslim lady has also won something like that in Virginia. And I see the Democrats in high spirit. Some even predicting difficult times for the Republicans during the midterms. But his win is quite interesting. I don't want to take it from that Israeli angle, but I looked at his campaign team and the youthful nature of his entire campaign team. New York is quite a big area, quite popular, for the good reasons and bad reasons. Financial capital of the world, as they put it. It has a lot of things going on. Whatever happens in New York normally has a reflection of the United States. But congratulations to him. I was quite surprised at his team, his campaign team, the youthful nature of his campaign team, and the excitement that greeted his triumph. I also listened to his speech, very fiery speech, hitting very hard at Trump in that conversation. And let's see how it goes. But I think it was a very good night for the Democrats. And if they take this momentum into the mid-terms, I'm sure something interesting is going to happen. But by and large, the Democrats are smiling this morning.
He's only 34, huh? He's only 34. He's the youngest mayor to have ever won that race.
Oh, he's 34, yes.
Yeah, he's only 34. And the Republicans perhaps must begin to worry, because for now the Democrats have taken over Virginia, as you rightly said, and now New York, and I even think New Jersey is starting to be corrected also. And it's interesting. I don't know, Uncle Z, I don't know what you also make of it.
Well, I like to look at it from the standpoint of a Ghanaian.
Okay.
There's another huge vindication of Kwame Nkrumah.
Right.
Huge vindication of Kwame Nkrumah. And Zoran is actually called Kwame.
Right.
He was named after Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana.
Right.
And Kwame Nkrumah is his major inspiration.
Oh,
yes.
The New York guy?
Yes.
Oh.
Kwame Nkrumah is his major inspiration. His parents actually named him after Kwame Nkrumah, and that's where his name Kwame comes from.
Right.
You understand? So, those who sit in Ghana and think that they can arbitrate the name of Kwame Nkrumah must realize that they are just simply joking. Kwame Nkrumah is such a huge figure. And trying to denigrate Kwame Nkrumah is like hitting your feet against a rock. In the final analysis, it's only your feet which suffers. The rock remains solid as ever. Now, Mandani actually campaigned with a promise to put the working class back into the center of production and distribution in New York. He campaigned on providing affordable housing, free bus service for the disadvantaged people, and so on. And it's clear that his agenda is socialist, socialist New York. And what is interesting is that the people of New York...
So they call him Socialist Mandani?
Yeah, he said he's socialist.
Exactly. The people of New York actually voted for socialism. You understand?
Wow.
Yes. They are no longer afraid of socialism.
Yeah.
And it is significant also to note that the right-wing forces in the U.S. ganged up against him and waged a very vicious campaign against him. And yesterday, Donald Trump described him as a crazy communist.
Yes.
And actually threatened that if he won the elections, he will withdraw federal support for New York. In spite of that, the people of New York overwhelmingly voted for Mandani, For me, the issue is not his age. It's not his age.
Right.
It's what he symbolizes, what he stands for, and so on. You could have had another 34-year-old Trumpian who would have lost the election. So it's not about his age. And it's interesting, he first of all says that he would not apologize for who he is. And according to him, who he is that he's a Muslim. Okay? Who he is that he's a socialist. Who he is that he's going against the U.S. establishment. And he has won in New York. Now, it's important also to note that New York is a multiracial, multicultural, society. New York, everybody is in New York. You understand? And one of the significant things that he stood firmly in support of is the right of the Palestinian people to establish their own state. And he was unambiguous about it. That the Palestinian people, like all people, have to enjoy the right to self-determination. They have to have a Palestinian state which has secure borders, and so on. And he won the elections in New York, which is great. Of course, the overall election results across the United States of America is an indication that Donald Trump is coming down. And that Donald Trump may not survive beyond his 4 years. That's also very clear. The Republicans are struggling, to stay relevant. And after Mandani had won the elections, you saw the pundits and so on, the analysis they made. The Republicans that I've heard so far are focusing their attention on their claim that his victory speech was high-pitched.
Yes.
Let's
listen to the analysis.
That he spoke above a certain, it was high-pitched, basically. That.
We call it decibel.
Yes. And that's all they have against him. And they're all calling him communist, as if it matters.
I think they felt that once he had won, his speech should have been to bring all the other side who were against him together. But I think it was quite fiery. And that when I was listening to analysis.
No, but he is very clear that this pretension of uniting classes and so on, it doesn't make any sense. The working class is a victim of capitalism. So you cannot be promoting capitalism and promoting the interests of the working class at the same time. And it's very clear, this is scientific, you understand? So you have trouble. Now, I'm not a soothsayer, but watching that young guy, a number of things can happen. One, the establishment, and I'm not just talking about the US establishment, the whole Western establishment will try to do harm to him. What harm they will do to him, I don't know. It can range from anything from smear campaign, frame-ups, to possible assassination. It will happen, you understand? I see this young man, if he's able to withstand the onslaught of the Republicans, the onslaught of the capitalist establishment, the onslaught of Western intelligence and so on, could, in the very near future, be running for president of the United States of America.
In this morning's discussion, people
he will
see him as
actually be
Lex
doing
Obama.
what Bernie Sanders has failed to do because of Bernie Sanders' own confusion.
Right.
You understand? Bernie Sanders also described himself as a democratic socialist. But he's pro-Israel. He's a Zionist advocate and so on. Mandani is not, you know. So let's see what the future brings. This guy could be heading towards the presidency in the United States of America.
Right. He's very charismatic.
Yeah.
You know, he's like a Barack Obama of a sort.
That's what people are saying.
And he is Kwame Nkrumah.
Yeah. Well,
this morning during the analysis, people were talking about the fact that he may be the next outliner.
Exactly.
Like Obama to come into the whole fray. Right. Yeah, people were. The discussions.
But you see, for me, not only the.
But he's very different from Barack Obama.
Well, yes, of course.
No, of course.
And the difference is in the ideological orientation.
Yes.
Right.
In fact, Barack Obama killed a lot more people, waged a lot more war than Bush. You know.
Right. And Chris, you raise a very very interesting point about you not being a soothsayer, but then for an outlier like this to win such a major, New York City is the biggest city in America, and the fact that there'll be a lot of eyes on him.
Well, it's described as the financial capital of the world. I don't know how they came to that.
Yeah, well,
that description.
That's another conversation for another day. But whilst he needs to watch his personal, take his personal security very serious, of course the states would have to do that for him. He will also be keenly monitored as far as his successes and failure are concerned, because of who he is and the fact that he's an outlier. I think so. I think his successes and if he fails, that would be a major blow to others who would want to achieve a similar fate. But of course, if he succeeds too, then that opens the door.
He's obviously cast in the mold of Malcolm X.
Exactly.
He's cast in the mode of Malcolm X.
That's a tough description. That's a tough comparison.
He's actually more to the left of Malcolm X. And we'll see what happens.
Okay. All right. So this is just what I call a curtain raiser.
But as for the media, as Ankwesi said, even this morning, right after his speech, the discussions.
Yeah.
The analysis of the speech, and even CNN, which is more cool with the Democrats, they were very tough in describing his speech, so that is something for him to look out for, because definitely
the right wing
is going to be a very, very tough.
Panicked. The right wing in the United States has panicked. And mind you, within the last 2-3 years, the United States of America has changed considerably. I mean, if you saw the hundreds of thousands marching in support of Palestine in New York, in Washington, and so on, that's a clear signal.
Yeah.
Hundreds of thousands of American citizens. This is not the United States of America which existed 5 years ago. It's changed a lot. And Mandani actually represents that change, that growing force, of left agitation, of a left alternative to even the Democrats and the Republicans.
Yeah.
Within the democratic movement, in the U.S., is building a new left force, which is strident, which is focused, and which is winning hearts and souls in the United States of America.
Right.
And that's very interesting.
I was reading the BBC this morning, and I like to read the BBC every day when I wake up because I need to know what's happening around the world. Now, the BBC reports something, and it just sort of buttresses the point that Uncle Quincy made. It says, Trump, who has a personal connection to New York, is sure to welcome a political tussle with Mandani, and he has a wealth of ways to complicate life for the new mayor. So you're absolutely right. And I mean, and to think that he defeated a political giant. I mean, Andrew Cuomo himself is a former governor. Yes. Son of a former governor. Yeah. What a political colossal. He defeated him. I mean, that's massive. That's massive. But his campaign was very, very successful.
The same Cuomo that appeared on CNN.
Yeah, the same guy. Same guy. So, well, congratulations to him. Congratulations to him. And I hope that we can only wish him well. Yeah. My producer is just telling me that, Andrew Cuomo had issues with the rape cases and things. But but they still passed him too. Those still remain allegations because he fought that matter. And
the most significant thing is that the president of the United States of America
was fully behind him,
who himself is a New Yorker, actually put his full weight against Mandani. And he won.
He won. Campaign for him. Anyway, so obviously there's this issue which a lot of the newspapers are reporting this morning, and as we do here on Good Morning Ghana, primarily our discussions are usually focused on what the newspapers are reporting. So Daily Graphics morning says 2020-2024 elections violence, 21 culprits face trial, 15 deaths, 39 injuries recorded. And the story is by Pakom Emmanuel Damali and Emma Jesua Saki. It says police investigations have found 21 individuals culpable for elections-related violence in 2020 and 2024, which together claimed 15 lives and injured 40 others. 3 of the suspects are standing trial, 4 others are on police inquiry bail, while 5 more are on remand in prison. Now, separate warrants have been issued for the rest of the remaining suspects in the first comprehensive efforts to deal with election-related violence in the country. The Minister for Interior, Muntaka Mohammed Mubarak, announcing this at a news conference in Accra yesterday, said he had instructed that a report to the Commission on the Election Violence at Ayawaso West Wuogon be implemented fully for justice to prevail. The investigations by a special task force were conducted under the auspices of the Inspector General of Police, following an instruction by President John Dramani Mahama to that effect. In January this year, the Special Investigations Task Force within the Criminal Investigations Department of the Ghana Police Service was inaugurated by the then Inspector General of Police, Dr. George Ekufu Dampari, on January 16, 2025, to collaborate with relevant stakeholders to identify, review, and investigate all electoral violence cases that resulted in fatalities in the last 2 presidential and parliamentary elections. The report, according to the Minister, traced the deaths and injuries to multiple causes, including conflict among political actors on opposite sides and poor security personnel actions in managing violence. The investigations established that 3 of the cases resulting in 4 deaths are traceable to the use of firearm by armed police patrol teams. Military personnel were also found to be responsible for 3 of the cases, resulting in the death of 3 persons when they intervened to restore calm to chaotic crowds. The investigation further established that 4 of the cases which resulted in 5 deaths were recorded when party enthusiasts resorted to the use of firearms against their opponents. The 2 other cases involved persons who were lynched during confrontations between supporters of 2 major parties, Mr. Mohammed Mubarak added. He said the crowd control response of security personnel resorting to firing of live ammunition and also directing fire at the escaping crowd is not acceptable. Now, the report indicated that there were 2 deaths with 9 injured in Techiman South and 1 death in Kranza South, both in the Bono East region. There were 2 deaths in 15 injured in Ododojo, 1 death and 4 injured in Ablekuma Central, both in the Greater Accra region. 1 death with 2 injured in Banda and 1 death with another injured in Doma West, both in the Bono region. In Savlugu in the northern region, there was 1 death and 3 injured persons, 1 death with 1 injured in Ewutu Senya East. in the central region. 1 death in Damango in the Savannah region, 1 death in Tolong in the northern region, 2 deaths with 2 injured in Offenso North, and 1 death with 3 injured in Ahafo North Southwest, both in the Ashanti region. Now, the task force recommended compensation and other necessary restitution measures to bring to a conclusion some of the most controversial cases of election-related violence in the Fourth Republic. Mr. Mohamed Muntakar said the report identified cumulatively 12 cases which led to the fatalities in the 2 elections, 6 each from the 20 and the 2024 general elections, which collectively led to 15 deaths and injured 40 others. These incidents span multiple regions, including Bono East, Greater Accra, Bono North, Bono, Northern, Central Savannah, and Ashanti. So, Ngozi.
Yeah.
Election-related violence. We're trying to deal with it.
We ought to deal with election-related violence, And it's important to recognize that this violence is organized. It's deliberately organized. It is meant to subvert the sovereign will of the people. It's an affront to the Constitution. And in the final analysis, leads to some distortions, in our development pattern. Our development no longer represents the will of our people and so on. So I take election violence as very serious matters which ought to be dealt with drastically. It is significant to note that some of the election violence has actually led to the loss of lives. A couple of years ago, about 3 years ago, I went to the anniversary of the Ayawasu West Wagon, by-election violence. And Honorable, I was shocked, I was really shocked seeing the victims. Some of them would never be able to work again. They become disabled for life. People who have lost vital parts of their bodies and so on. People who have actually become vegetables as a result of a conspiracy of people in the echelons of our politics, who have hired victims. And in fact, most of the people who commit this violence are themselves victims of this system which imposes poverty on them and so on. They are poor. They want to survive. They want to eat. There are no jobs. And these politicians who are responsible for this decadence, leading to mass misery and so on, exploit their vulnerability and give them handouts. You should imagine the amount of money that these hoodlums are paid in order to commit these criminal activities, to take part in these criminal activities. 500 cities. And then they put a cutlass in your hand. They put a gun in your hand to go and die, to go and kill and so on. I think that we have to bring this to an end, But I think it's more important to punish the big men and women who organize this. Because those who actually carry out this violence are themselves victims of the system and of those who have built the system and continue to maintain the system. What is interesting is that those who use these chaps for them to win elections, to become members of parliament, for them to win elections, to become presidents and so on, they don't use their own family members. Their children are insulated from this mayhem. Their children don't go to polling stations to snatch ballot boxes and so on, So I'm very happy that this has been investigated, and we are talking about 2020 elections and also 2024 elections. Maybe we could have gone back, because there are several incidents, there are several cases of people whose lives have been destroyed as a result of election violence. And I'm happy that we are taking some action in order to send a signal that the society would not tolerate this level of violence and so on. And it gets worse. Every day it gets worse. Can you believe? Can you actually believe that even within the walls of Parliament, this reckless, extreme misbehavior takes place, violence. Can you believe it? There's an election of Speaker, and an honorable member of Parliament actually fights his way, grabs ballot papers, and chews them and swallows them in the full glare, of everybody. What kind of society do we think that we are building? What kind of society do you think that we're building? There's an argument in Parliament, which should normally have been resolved by reference to legal instruments and so on. And then they start punching themselves. This has to come to an end. And it can only come to an end if society shows its full abhorrence of this backward, very backward, reckless behavior by persons who anoint themselves as leaders of our country. And I mean that very strongly. You know why? I mean that very strongly. How do people become presidents in Ghana? How? How do people become presidents in Ghana? It's always self-appointment. They go and stand in the mirror and look at themselves and they think that they are convinced that they can also become president. And then they check their bank accounts and they find a little money in the bank account. And then they hold a press conference and say, I'm also fit to be president. That's all. That's how people become president in Ghana. Is there any other way? Self-appointment. So anybody, and I mean anybody, who has a little money in his back pocket is convinced that he looks handsome because he looked in the mirror one morning and his eyes deceived him and so on, jumps into the race.
But they're taking your advice because you've always asked them to check themselves.
Who is checking themselves?
That's why they're standing in front of the mirror.
Look at what is happening in the NDC. Look at what is happening in the NDC. It makes you sick. Now we have passed 10 people. They forget that we gave them a mandate, for 4 years. At the end of the 4 years, the achievements is what is going to make it possible for anybody from the NDC to win or lose elections. They are not focusing on that job. They are not focusing on leaving a legacy for President John Dramani Mahama. They are not focused on meeting electoral promises and so on. All of them have jumped into this crazy race to become president. And you look at some of them and you wonder what they saw in themselves. What is it that made them so ambitious? Look at them, they are very ordinary. In fact, below ordinary.
Okay, but they don't think so.
It's not what they think.
They think they're extraordinary.
The people who are declaring themselves as presidential candidates.
Oh, yes. But that's why they are declaring themselves.
Moro, do you think that
they disagree with you that they are ordinary?
What do you think? Well, if they were ordinary, that would be fine.
In a tight corner.
No, if they were ordinary, that would be fine. They are below ordinary.
Oh, obviously.
No, but it's true. And I don't want to mention it. There's one of them who is all over the place, jumping around and claiming that he wants to be the successor of President Mahama. And I look at him and I laugh. What do you have? What are you bringing? No ideas, no charisma, nothing. He's also jumping around because perhaps he has a few CDs in his back pocket. I should stop joking and wasting our time. You understand? There's a job to be done. There's 4 years. Now it's less than 4 years. We're actually talking about 3 years.
Yeah.
There's 3 years to work. They should focus attention on working to build the Ghana that they promised. And stop this childish, over-enthusiastic stupidity.
All right. Collins, has your constituency ever recorded any election-related violence since you became an MP?
I think the last election, 2024, there were some little scuffle in the constituency, which is very, very unusual. Because my constituency, normally, the two political parties, the major ones, I mean, we lived side by side quite peacefully. But for the last election, which saw some violence, But what we saw was not to the level that is being reported, you know. But it is my hope that we don't experience that any longer. But the point is that nobody should die for anybody to be president of a political party, or any person for the person to become a president, or for a political party to assume power. I know during the election, Mr. Mahama, His Excellency, it was more like a campaign promise that when he comes in, he's going to institute an investigation into the violence that erupted during the 2020-2024 elections. So yesterday when I saw the minister giving us a brief, it's more of in fulfillment of the promise that the president then candidate made. Some interesting revelations. The good thing about investigations, it gives all the other parties an opportunity to tell their side of the story. And I think yesterday you heard that of the MP for Ewutu Senya. That also struck me a little bit because because that was a very topical issue during the election. And Ankwesi is reported on TV3. Phyllis Nakoyo Okeno denied her convoy was attacked, stating
contrary to what we heard during the election.
Yes, that's the point I'm making. Stating she was not at the scene. Those involved have refused to speak with the task force, which is contrary to what we were told during the elections, that she has been attacked by Hawa Kum Singh and all that. The investigations gives two different scenarios. It gives an opportunity for issues like this to be cleared.
Right.
So now, if those who had said that Hawa had attacked the member of parliament on the basis of this investigation, the MP herself is saying that she was not even at the scene. She was not even in the car or anything. That brings some clarity to the issue that transpired, and also gives an opportunity for the state to prosecute those who indeed perpetrated this kind of crime. And as I said, nobody should die for any politician to assume office. I'm happy with the investigation. We are told that 21 of them are facing trial. I believe that as time goes on, we'll be getting some feedback or some update as to where the trials have gotten to. I think he failed to mention names during his press conference, those involved, you know. But it's good that they are having their day in court. I'm sure they'll go with their lawyers to argue their case out. If it turns out that they are part of the people that perpetrated this kind of crime, the law should just take its course. It's as simple as that. You know. So I don't have any issue with the investigations at all. I'm just happy that it is bringing to bear the facts, the real facts, you know, devoid of the propaganda during the time. You know, but I'm happy about the investigation. Let's see how it goes. I'm happy also that the minister took time to brief the country as to how far he has gone. The issue about Ayawaso, you know, I used to live in Abelemkpe, so I kind of remember exactly what happened. I've seen videos of some of the victims who are in wheelchairs and all that. Why should it be so? Why should somebody become a member of parliament, and just by that decision for you to become a member of parliament, somebody should lose his or her livelihood? You know, so it shouldn't happen. It's something that we should condemn. Violence has no place in our democracy. All of us, all well-meaning Ghanaians, must be clear in their mind that going to take a decision as to who leads you should not lead to violence.
Right.
You know, sometimes in my constituency, as I said, but for the last election, it was a very peaceful, simple process. I mean, people get up, they vote, they go back to their farms. By 5 o'clock, they are back to observe the counting. We count, everybody gets his pink sheet. We go to the collation center, we tabulate, the winner is declared. It's as simple as that. And I think if all constituencies follow the same suit, we shouldn't be having any issue like this. There shouldn't be any place for violence now in our democracy.
You know, in the last elections, we recorded a significant drop in the number of persons who went out to vote. A significant drop in the last elections. And of course, people are free to theorize, you know, on what they believe may have accounted for that drop in, you know, that electoral participation, or participation in that electoral process or exercise. But it would not be far-fetched for anybody to even remotely assume that one of the reasons is because of the fear that people will be harmed. I'm talking about election violence.
That's true. Yeah.
You know, you know, it's madness and it's impunity, and we've allowed it to fester. And so when people are going to commit the crime, they don't think twice.
I mean, and in the 2024 election, you saw what happened during the coalition of the members of parliament. I mean, it was chaotic. It's unacceptable. You saw videos of people, electoral commissioners, being forced, you know, to declare results. Look at what happened at Patrick Boame's constituency, if you recall. You know, but for the fact that he had his pink sheet, it would have been a different story. You know, so
I mean, elections is just about counting vote, not cutting heads.
Yes.
We'll take a break. We'll be right back.
Day the right way, filled with confidence to take on any challenge. Pepsodent Kids contains the right amount of fluoride and sugar acid protection to care for their developing gums and teeth. Grab either orange or strawberry so they brush with the sweet flavor they love morning and evening. Pepsodent Kids, giving your children a bright smile for a brighter future.
Sometimes the unexpected happens and the hero falls down in his own story. But he needs not stay down for long. Cosmopolitan Health Insurance is your trusted health partner. Whether an individual building a business, with Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, your medical care is our concern. For the best health insurance solutions for corporate institutions, groups and associations, families and individuals, choose Cosmopolitan Health Insurance from our over 700 accredited health service providers nationwide. Call us on 0302 540 668 or 0501 678 547 for all your health insurance solutions. Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, your medical care is our concern.
I'm a brand manager. Of course, I accept only quality and affordable printed souvenirs for my promotional campaigns.
I'm the head of academic affairs of a very important institution in Ghana. Of course, we only deal with quality, reliable printing companies for our institution's printing materials. I'm talking about appointed time printing.
Appointed Time Printings. We take pride in our extensive print scope that transform your ideas into captivating visual masterpieces. We delve into the core objectives and vision of each print project. Precision printing is at the heart of our printing process as we meet your tight deadlines. Our rigorous inspection, color verification, and overall printing excellence are assured. 20 years of printing excellence. It's always a pleasure working with you to create a vibrant, dazzling printing experience that gives you a masterpiece. Appointed Time Printing, your world of quality and affordable printing.
Ama, nansi mi jeno wo bin enkoye kwao. Ama ma ye bohu se kontomra akija.
Nansi me hu se me nyo basima kra. Ama me kunu me into kwankwa. Oh you right. Enye mo ko. Give us GC mixture. And then the capsules are your num boom and want some na more kana. A bois and ma and a memina. Nema ba ye obesima. Na bear must why ye bear messima. Ya, we be one crew. I'm a neck giant and sour the shelly bottom. No when you yan and into sessing you all you chop one. ɛna capsule ahyesa
apemfo abata wɔn mo manufoɔ ne nkwada wo ne fie du mmienu ka
wabedem time aso watch na learning mese watch and learn mekwaya ma besisia abozege akache say no ya konate and the more drink woman hey but I didn't mean oh sorry she knew her odesh eji dabi o bibi wom ready hey bibi wom eji I'll cause some discomfort sorry, well, uncle, where would the dad? Why your funeral? At to phone for Aerofield Trading. Sorry, it killed them all.
No mum share Nanda Daya was mosquito call is to do woman. Na say spray with them musa. Chaisima a dronum and sana ko dynamo.
And Kratoi FDA Ajatum.
Kwame and his uncle are almost here.
Wait a minute. This one too, your friend Kwame.
Wait, Kwame. As in the same Kwame again?
Yes, Mommy.
I'm the second coming. Into all this tension just to reintroduce that broke boy from Kaswa.
Why would you deceive the family like this again?
Now I understand the whole delay. Troll from Kaswa dear. Why wouldn't he be late? Or be later?
Of course.
Star 712 hash, star 712 hash. You go be the luckiest. Copy from Georgia be luckiest. From Natepia cause she be luckiest. Yeah, you go be luckiest. No matter why you're luckiest. Everybody go be the luckiest.
That's Kwame!
Send your God the apple boom. If you put it with so would the coming of the son of man be. Hey. Is that his car?
Ha! Even now, your shadow the way designer.
I use my own mouth to reject him. Oh, this is my mouth. Look at that.
Kwame, my son. Now, tell me the truth. How did this all happen?
Oh, mommy, simple direction. Mr. Good Luck no check me well.
Yeah,
man.
Easy cry. Or dial star 712 hash.
The devil is a liar.
He picked his ticket and entered his lucky 5-digit number.
How much baby?
Oh, how romantic!
And he followed the prompt, yes. And then boom, confirmation test.
One quick, pick 5 numbers for me, okay? I'm feeling like 7.
Dial star 712 hash. Choose your ticket. Enter your lucky number. Follow the prompt and let destiny handle the
You see how they love you now?
Yo, do you have family payment? Before December, may release a motivational album. Patapa, my super.
This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform.
Elections in Ghana in recent times have been characterized by violence in various forms. In 2020 and 2024 general elections, we recorded some isolated incidents such as violence resulting in loss of lives. To address this recurrent and bring justice to the victims, the President, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, directed the formation of a special investigative task force to re-examine cases of electoral violence, fatalities, identify the causes, hold perpetrators accountable, and propose measures to prevent further occurrence. On January 16, 2025, the Inspector General of Police inaugurated a special task force within the Criminal Investigation Department, CID, of the Ghana Police Service. The mandate of the task force was to collaborate with the stakeholders to identify, review, and investigate all electoral violent cases that resulted in fatalities during the 2020 and 2024 general election. The Special Investigation Task Force identified 12 cases that took place during the 2020 and 2024 general election. These cases had resulted in 15 deaths across the country, and well over 40 individuals got injured. The report outlined detailed account of all the 12 cases recorded during the period. The detailed report, which has been submitted to His Excellency the President, also contains the various incidents, how they were brought or got to the notice of the police, and actions taken by investigators in line with the laid down investigation protocol and procedure. The report further detailed action taken when the Special Investigative Task Force took over the cases at level initially investigators had reached, and detailed findings derived from further interviews, interrogations, field visits, reconstruction of crime and crime scene, and forensic analysis of various materials of evidence retrieved during the investigation. Every violent incident recorded during the general election presents various criminal offenses which will have been committed by different persons involved. The report took into account a number of incidents where some procedural actions were overlooked. There were instances of clear breaches of discipline, violation of legal requirement, and total neglect by officers who were either present or responsible for situations that required prompt, responsive actions. The focus is to avoid veering into areas that might confuse procedural breaches with the main mandate, which is to investigate, identify, and prosecute persons responsible for death during the two general elections in the years of the 2020 and 2024. The Odio constituency in the Greater Accra region. The observation of the task force, special task force, is that investigations into the incident failed to identify the persons who shot and killed the deceased Richard Otu and Emmanuel Dompre. However, 3 identified persons by police as those who fired shots into the crowd and injuring them were charged with the offenses of conspiracy to commit murder, contrary to the Section 23(1) and 47 of the Criminal Offences Act 1960 Act 29, and attempted murder, contrary to Section 48 of the same Act. They have been committed and are standing trial at the High Court, Criminal Court 1, Accra. The recommendation of the task force is that the task force recommends monetary compensation to the families of the deceased. The injured must abide by the judgment of the court in the trial, after which compensation, if any, may be determined. So the actions that we've taken so far on this is that same report has been forwarded to the Attorney General for the workout of compensation to the deceased family. The docket is also at the cold case unit, since we've not been able to actually get those who fired the shot that killed the 2 citizens. It is worth noting that the report has been sent to the Office of the Attorney General for further actions and prosecutions. As Minister for Interior, I want to assure the public that government, under the able leadership of His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama, is committed to upholding the rule of law and to ensuring that all those responsible for the violence are held accountable. Government will continue to work with all stakeholders to strengthen democratic institutions and ensure that elections in the country are peaceful. God bless our homeland Ghana and make it great and strong.
Well, thanks for staying with us. This is Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. My name is Audu Moore. I'm here with Mr. Kwesi Pratt Jr., former managing editor of the Insight newspaper and also a seasoned journalist and an elderly statesman. Also with us this morning is Collins Adumaku-Mensah, a member of Parliament for the Ifija-Kwabren North constituency, also a former deputy minister for energy. He's also has been in the banking industry for a very long time. He's also an economist. He has a lot of knowledge in economics and finance as well. So he's a man who wears many hats. He's also a birthday celebrant, a Sunday birthday celebrant that forgot about his friends who he appears on TV platforms with to celebrate his birthday. But we're forgiving him. Uncle Kwesi has said I should apologize and I should tell him that he has accepted his apology for not inviting us. And so that's fine. We're good now. We're fine. Anyway, so Because are there anything else you want to say in conclusion?
No.
In fact, there's been some development. The former member of parliament for the Owutu Senya East, right? I believe so. That's the Owutu Senya East, right? That's Hawa Kumsin. She's actually issued a statement in reaction to what the Honorable Muntaka Mubarak Mohammed said yesterday at that presser. And Hawa Kumsin, in this statement, she says, "I wish to formally acknowledge a recent press briefing conducted by the Honorable Muntaka Mubarak, Minister of the Interior, regarding the status of investigations into election-related violence associated with the 2020 and 2024 elections. Concerning the disturbances that transpired on the night of the elections in the Owutu Senya East constituency, the findings reported by the investigative team have substantiated my initial assertion that I bear no responsibility for the violence which tragically resulted in the loss of an innocent life." Now, it is pertinent to highlight that the unfounded accusations orchestrated and led by the then parliamentary candidate of the National Democratic Congress, Ms. Phyllis Nwakoyo, precipitated an unjustified and unprovoked attack against me during the Ablekuma North by-election a few months ago, an incident that nearly cost me my life. While she may have derived some advantage from these baseless allegations, I sincerely hope that those who have wrongfully accused me will possess the integrity to issue a full and unequivocal apology for the trauma I have endured. That's from Madam Hawa Kumsing, former member of parliament for the Owutu Senya East constituency. Now, when you juxtapose what she's just issued or authored and released, and you go online and you read a story about what exactly happened that day. Now, this is the story. I'm going to read the entire story, and then we can put the two together and make some sense of it. Now, a shooting incident in the Owutu Senya East, and this on the 7th of December. A shooting incident in the Owutu Senya East constituency of the Central Region has left one person dead and another critically injured after occupants of a V8 vehicles opened fire in Saturday's polls. Information gathered indicates that both the deceased and the injured individuals are believed to be members of the NDC. According to reports, the incident occurred after the NDC parliamentary candidate Phyllis Nwakoyo Okono allegedly declared herself the winner of the parliamentary elections. Okay. The report suggests that unknown assailants followed her and opened fire as they were heading home after observing the vote counting and collation exercise. The Ghana Police Service sources have since confirmed that the victims were supporters of Phyllis Nwakoyo. Speaking to Accra-based TV3, Phyllis Nwakoyo recounted that her visit to one of the collation centers, Iron City, after voting had concluded. She alleges that she noticed a V8 vehicle belonging to the incumbent member of parliament, Mavis Hawa Kumsing, parked near the center. Madam O'Connor claimed that the occupants of the vehicle included individuals she had identified who tried to take her life during the 2020 elections in Kaswa. They had followed me, so I'm quoting her. They had followed me and shot one of my guys. One guy is dead and it is not peaceful. There is a dead body lying down. Hawa Kumsing has killed someone. That's from Phyllis. She wanted to take my life and kill someone. Okay, so end of quote. When asked how she identified the vehicle and its occupant, she responded, now I'm quoting her, "I know it because I know her car. I know the boys as well. This is not the first time the boys are coming to Kaswa. They have been to Kaswa before. They were there in 2020 and they were there and they were the first people who attacked me." Quote ended. But O'Connor expressed deep concern for her safety and that of her family, stating, "I am not safe right now. My life and my family lives are in danger." She states that she had reported the incident to the Ghana Police Service but claimed that no action had been taken so far. The NDC parliamentary candidate confirmed that one person is deceased while another is critically injured and fighting for their life. That constituency is known to be a hotspot, and as it has recorded similar violent incidents during the other electoral violence, I believe so. Electoral activities, sorry about that. So, does that change your position, Collins, or you still insist that
what you read, it's quite clear
They saw her V8. They saw the boys was driving the V8. That's what she said. They said the V8 belongs to Hawa Kumsin.
That's what she said then.
Maybe that's why she believes that Hawa Kumsin was the instigator.
I'm saying that's what she said
Yes,
then.
I know, I get it.
But now, this is what she's saying. Philsna Koyo denied her convoy was attacked, stating she was not at the scene. This is completely at variance with what you just read, which was her narrative then. That she was in the car, she saw a car coming, a convoy, they shot at the car. It was Hawa Kumsin who has killed somebody. Now she's saying that she was not even in the car. She was not there. So which car was following her? Which car did she see? I am saying that this investigation is bringing out some clarity with some of the things that we heard during the elections. And Madam Hawa Kumsin is right to have released this particular statement, because then clearly it vindicates. It doesn't mean that no violence happened during the election at her place, but it vindicates the story that was told by the now member of parliament that Hawa Kumsin has killed somebody. That's the point I'm making. So her rebuttal is apt. And what you just read, being the narration that we were told on January 7th, on 7th December 2024, obviously on the basis of what the Interior Minister has said, cannot be accurate. And that is why she is saying that on the basis of this report, at least those who accused her, which is the MP now, who is now denying that she was not even in the car, it's just right that she apologizes to her. That's what she's saying. And I think she's right.
Okay.
Yes.
I think we should be careful here. What the Interior Minister says that there was one incident in which the MPP candidates, it was alleged that the MPP's candidate, the NDC candidate's vehicle or convoy was attacked, and that has been denied. That's all he says. But there's confirmation that there was electoral violence in the constituency, leading to death and injury.
Yes, that is confirmed.
Yeah, so we shouldn't...
No, that is confirmed.
Yeah,
he intimated that in his submission.
Yeah,
he said
that is confirmed. That is not in doubt.
Yeah.
That's not in doubt. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's move on. So let's look at the publisher, the Ghanaian publisher today. Uncle, see, there's a matter which trended really this week. It started over the weekend, and there have been all kinds of developments since then. And today's Ghanaian publisher is giving us, some aspects of the update. And it says CID takes over Naimos assault case, and the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Christian Titanyonu, has ordered the Criminal Investigations Department's headquarters to take over investigations into the attack on the National Anti-Illegal Mining Operations Secretariat Naimos Operations Team at Fidium in the Ahafo region. In a press release issued by Deputy Commissioner of Police, DCOP Grace Ansah Kofi, Director General of Police Public Affairs, the police confirmed that a member of parliament for Esuatifi North, Ebenezer Kwekwado, has been invited to assist with investigations. He is alleged to have incited a mob and obstructed the Naimos team during an operation, according to the police statement, while officers were preparing to hand over the suspects at the Fidium police station. Mr. Ado reportedly arrived at the scene with a group demanding their release. When officers refused, the group allegedly forcefully removed the suspects' handcuffs and chased the Naimos team away. Later, an estimated mob of 600 people, reportedly incited by the MP, stormed the Fidium police station, demanding the release of the suspects. The mob vandalized the Naimos director's vehicle, damaged portions of the station, and threatened to burn it down. The Zongo chief of Fidium intervened and helped ensure the safe evacuation of the Naimos team, although his vehicle was damaged in the process. No injuries were reported. Now, reinforcement units from the Ahafo Region Command were deployed to restore order. The Ghana Police Service condemned the attack and warned the public against interfering in law enforcement duties. A special operation has been launched to identify and arrest suspects involved in the incident. Meanwhile, the Member of Parliament for Esuatifi South, Alhaji Collins Dauda, has denied claims circulating on social media that he instigated the youth in Fidium to attack the members of the Anti-Galamsey Task Force. Speaking on Asempa FM's Ekosi saying, Mr. Dauda described the allegations as false and dangerous and blamed misinformation for creating unnecessary tension. All the claims that I incited the youth to attack the Naimos operations team are completely false. Social media misinformation is destroying this country, he stressed. Well, we'll look at the new cyber a law which the government intends to introduce, and also the misinformation, disinformation bills. There are two bills which are all going to be before Parliament soon after some either extensive stakeholder consultation. So that's another matter we'll look at. But for now, let's deal with this. Now, the Ghana Police Service condemned the attack and warned the public against interfering in law enforcement duties. A special operation has been launched to identify and arrest suspects involved in the incident. And meanwhile, Alhaji Nkolisdada has denied it. He said it's not true. It says all the claims that I incited the youth to attack the NIMOS operations team are completely false. Social media misinformation is destroying this country. And he's explained, Ado is explaining that he only contacted the Sotifi North MP, Mr. Ado, after receiving complaints from constituents about a military operation in the area. According to him, Mr. Ado merely went to speak with the security commander on his behalf while he was out of the country, and a violent confrontation occurred elsewhere and without his involvement. Now, closely related to this, I told a member of Parliament for Sotifi North, Ebenezer Kwekwado, has been barred by the court from leaving the Greater Accra region without notifying investigators as part of his bail conditions. Now, the directive follows his alleged involvement in the Fidium Galamsey clash, for which he faces provisional charges of assault on a public officer, unlawful damage, and rioting with weapons. Ebenezer Kwekwado was arraigned on Tuesday, 4th November 2025, and was granted bail of 150,000 cedis. And is also required to report to investigators once every 2 weeks until the order is reversed or the trial begins. The court also cautioned him against any conduct that could frustrate the ongoing, investigation. So we're told the prosecution, so the prosecution gave us a reason why he's supposed to be reporting to the police once every 2 weeks. And, all right, so there's also a background to the story. I'll start with Collins, I'm sure you saw the video too. I don't know what you made of the video that you saw, and subsequently what you heard, Collinsdada's interview, Kwekwado's interview, what Erastus is saying, and so on and so forth. I'm talking about Erastus Asari-Donko, who is a very passionate reporter when it comes to Galamsey, anti-Galamsey issues, or Galamsey issues.
What we are seeing now with the fight against Galamsey is the main reason why we should desist from politicizing the issue of Galamsey. What we are seeing now is the main reason why we should just desist from politicizing Galamsey and allow those who know the business to handle this canker. We've politicized this issue of Galamsey for our political gains, both political parties. And it became even more tense in the 2024 elections. All manner of things. I remember Nana Dankwa for His Excellency. It was described as Galamsey campaign. You recall? They told that, His Excellency Nana Dankwa Kufuor is the campaign. He's the man in charge. And that let's give the NDC the chance. When they come, all these things are going to be a thing of the past. This is what we're told. Remember that? You remember? This is exactly what we were told. Oh, within 2 weeks, we'll fix the problem. If the president was a serious president, a certain president was serious, we'll fix this problem in 2 weeks. Oh, there are 5,000 soldiers. There are 15,000 policemen. Manado is in charge. What is happening? Why is he not deploying them to stop this menace? I recall here, I'm an ardent viewer. Oh, we can't collaborate with Galamseyers to solve Galamsey in reference to the MPP. And then when we come, this thing is simple matter. Today, you see what is happening? Members of Parliament are being accused of protecting Galamseyers. Members of Parliament are being accused of protecting Galamseyers under His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. You see how difficult it is to deal with Galamsey. You see how difficult it is. It's not something you toy with. It is something you sit down, discuss issues dispassionately to fashion a way out of this problem. This is NIMOS, soldiers. You see what is happening to soldiers. We are being told that the Zongo chief had to come in with his own car. Even the Zongo chief's car was vandalized. Now you are getting different narrations. Erastus says this. When you call the MP, say, oh, he was going for a funeral. He just got a call from his senior colleague that he heard that there's some issue going there. So he's going to check. Let's go and check what's happening.
Military operations.
So he's going to check what is happening. Then he goes there and then he calls the big man. So we'll talk to 911 chief. You see where we are? You see where we are? If we don't depoliticize this issue and face this issue head on, there's a DC in that constituency? PDM. So you think the DC is not aware that there's Galamsey going on?
That's what is not Galamsey.
What is it?
It's called they're doing leaching. They're using tailings. They're combining tailings with cyanide. They're not digging.
What's the effect of cyanide, yourself? Moro, me and you said me SS. What is the effect of cyanide?
Oh my God.
Moro.
Don't worry, see why.
So that's the issue. It's sad. The way people were demonized. People were just made to, Ghanaians were made to feel like, as for MPP, just Galamsey party. Today, here we are. Here we are.
It's an allegation.
An allegation. Today, the organizer of the National Democratic Congress is being investigated by Yoko. The second vice chair is being investigated by Yoko. So now Galamsey is not MPP matter. Now you see, it is not just MPP matter. It's a national issue. And now when you listen to the communicators now, when I go on radio discussion with them, they don't mention His Excellency's name. Now they blame the authorities on the ground. Now they say, oh, Minerals Commission was supposed to check. As if during another time there was no Minerals Commission. Moro, did you ever envisage that with all the campaign that was unleashed on us, we will get to a point where members of parliament of this government, NDC, will be bold enough to go against the president directive on the issue of Galamsey? That is how deep the problem is. When you speak to some of them, oh, we are solving the problem. We are working. On the ground, this is what is happening. These are the issues. Yesterday he went to court. He's been granted 150,000. 150,000 bail.
Why? You have a problem with that?
150,000.
Why?
Over the videos you are seeing.
Yes.
150,000.
But it's at the discretion of the court.
Fantastic. I love that court.
Yes.
That discretion. That bail discretion. Yes. You have to be very careful. Some are being given 800 million bail condition.
For different offenses.
Yes.
Under different circumstances.
No problem. Uncle, I don't have a problem. Yes. Under different offenses. Yes. But it's at the discretion of the judge.
Yes.
But I'm just looking at 800 million. I'm looking at 200 million. I'm looking at 10 million. I'm looking at 50 million to 150,000 Ghana. To 150,000 Ghana cedis. Interesting discretion by the judge.
It's not interesting at all. The offenses are different. Circumstances are different. So many differences.
How is it? 800 million and 150,000.
Yes, 150,000 for what? For inciting people to cause mayhem. Not so. 800,000 for allegedly taking from state coffers. More than that, billions of cedis. Please don't confuse the two.
That's for me.
Look, if you go and steal an egg and you're being granted bail, it will not be in the same sum as somebody who has allegedly stolen a whole house.
Obviously, my point is that this issue of Galamsey, as for me, I'm prepared to assist the president. I'm sure my political party, we are prepared to assist the president to solve this issue. But if we continue to politicize the issue, this is where we come to. This is where we are. It's sad. What I'm saying is very, very sad. Very sad.
Well, obviously.
Well, first of all, I think it's clear from all the statements that we have heard that the investigations have not been concluded. We are still at the stage of investigations. And I think it will only be fair to all the parties involved for us to allow the investigations to be concluded. And if the investigations are concluded and anybody is found liable, member of parliament, non-member of parliament, whatever, the law ought to take its course. What we are engaging in now is actually needless speculation. Because yesterday, the Inspector General of Police issued a statement saying that the matter was going to be investigated. All the newspapers tell us today that the matter is still under investigation. Why are we in a hurry? You understand? Point is that Galamsey is causing tremendous havoc to the health, the economy, everything that we hold dear. Indeed, we are being told that over the last 3 years, cocoa production has gone down by more than 50% as a direct result of Galamsey. That's true. We are being told stories about children who are born with malfunctioning organs, and children who have been born without limbs. Some children have been born without eyes and so on. And all of that is traceable to Galamsey. So it's a serious matter, and I think it should be treated seriously. One of my worries is this, and you can check. Anytime you hear about Galamseyers being arrested and so on, what you actually find is that they are hirelings who are being arrested.
Yeah.
Galamsey is a capital-intensive criminal enterprise. What is the cost of an excavator?
It's close to, sometimes some are even $700,000, $800,000.
So when you see that Galamseyers have been arrested and they are laborers and so on, you know that the real people have not been touched.
That's right. That's true.
I think it's about time we should go for the real people who are financing Galamsey.
I agree with
the
you.
big men and women.
I agree with you.
The people who are able to buy a number of excavators, you know, and so on. Those are the people we should be going for. You understand? Rather than these laborers who I'm told that in some instances are being paid 300 cedis a day and so on. And those are not the problems that we have. Now, I think it would be unfair for anybody to suggest that nothing is being done about fighting illegal mining, you understand? Whatever that means. There's some of the so-called legal mining is also responsible for the pollution of the environment and so on. But I think it would be unfair to suggest that nothing is being done. A lot is being done. And I've been following very closely, and I can see that a lot is being done. However, in spite of the fact that a lot is being done, the harm is still there. I mean, last week I saw videos of Galamseyers actually digging under a railway line and rendering that whole rail system inoperative.
Let me just help. The Energy Committee also went round. We're doing the pylons, the Gridco pylons, and I have the picture here. You know, they've dug beneath the pylon.
Hey.
Yes, I have the picture here. And the pylon now is weak. And you know, the Gridco pylons, they carry the heavy.
Please send it.
I'll forward it to
Annie,
you.
yes, so that we can.
And they've dug.
We can show it on our TV.
Below the pylon. And the Gridco Deputy Chief Executive told us that even the most dangerous part is that when they send their engineers to go and reinforce the metals, the Galamseyers think they are part of the task force. And then they'll be chasing them with guns. They don't know that they are Gridco engineers just coming to the bush to reinforce. Yes. He informed us when we went round to meet the directors of it's quite a problem. And even at Bui, You know, it picks its source from, and sorry if I'm coming in, Uncle C.
No, I don't have
it's coming in from the Black Volta. You know, on the banks of the Volta, they are digging. So the color of the water has changed. And it's the speed of the water that turns the turbines to create power. Now, the water coming in has stones in there. If it enters the turbines, the buoy has to shut down.
So it will destroy the
turbine. That's about almost 400 something megawatt plants. Yes. So as Uncle is saying, apart from the even the pollution of the water bodies, now it's eating into power sector. And you could see the pylon. I'll send the picture to you. They're digging below the pylons.
Yeah, so all I'm saying is that we have a very huge problem. You understand? We have a very huge problem which we need to deal with. You understand? Of course, nobody can argue that Galamsey was fought vigorously in the previous regime. And people who were part
Collins, is that it?
This is part of it, and I have that other one that I'm going to show it to you.
Okay, please. Sorry about that.
People who were part of that government, even at the ministerial level, came and expressed their dissatisfaction with the manner in which the fight was being carried out. So if one talks about the fact that Galamsey was not fought as vigorously as was necessary in the previous administration, I don't think that it can be reduced to politicking and so on. I mean, read the Frimpong-Boateng report and so on. Point is that we have a big problem on our hands and we need to solve that problem. Point is that our water bodies are still polluted and are being polluted. Point is that Galamsey is still going on and that we need to be more vigorous in the fight against Galamsey than we have been. That's all.
Collins.
Yeah. It's really a problem. It's really a problem. And just as I was describing, it's now moving from just a news item last week.
Yes.
Central region, the water problem in the central region. They have to shut down some of the plants because of Galamsey. You know, I was also reading a report about if we are not careful in the next 10 years. I don't know if Angus you've seen it. If you are not careful in the next 10 to 15 years, we may have to be importing water.
We are importing water now. Why are you talking about next 10 to 15 years?
I mean, the report I read. That if you are not
but you know that we are importing water now. Go to the supermarkets. Moro, am I lying?
True.
We are importing water today. So we are not talking about next 10 to 15 years. It's happening right now.
It's Moro is a problem. And as I said,
should we Uncle, yes, I get it when you say that investigations are still being carried in.
Can't we just put a 3 months ban? Just some 3 months ban, just to sanitize the system.
It's an illegal activity. It's not like it's a regulated legal activity which is going on which you can ban. The people are they doing it with permission? Banning is not the problem. Well, it's not the solution.
You see, but you know, in as much as I get it that, yeah. So this is what Collins is talking about when they're digging, you know, beneath the pylons, and very soon these pylons are going to come down. You know, this is very serious.
Yes,
this is good. This is very serious. But obviously, have you seen the explanation by the said member of parliament for the Sutifi North constituency? His explanation as a historian as to what exactly happened. You know, he issued a statement and he says that to go to the good people of Sutifi North and the general public, and I'll just read just a portion of it. It says, I am compelled to address the recent unfortunate incident between some residents of Sutifi South and the military task force deployed on national assignment, that's NIMOS. Now, this is his chronology of events. Now, it says, on 1st November 2025, whilst en route to a funeral at Acherinsia in the Acherinsia, okay, in the Sutifi South constituency, I inquired from Honorable Collins Dauda, the MP for Sutifi South constituency, whether he was available so we could go together. Honorable Dauda indicated that he's currently not in the country, so I could represent him. Now, upon reaching Shidi, I realized there was tension in town, so I inquired, and I was told there was a military operations going on at a gold extraction site. I quickly called back Honorable Dauda to inform him of the development. He asked me to go to the site to enable him speak with the team to ascertain what was going on, because one of the assembly members who he sent wasn't spoken to by the military team. Upon reaching the site with my constituency vice chairman and my driver, I introduced myself to the leader and asked that he speaks to the person on the phone. Having arrived at the place, I saw some youth at the site whilst others gradually massed up. The only advice I could give was for us to move to the police station to officially make a statement and subsequently hand over items and suspects to the police to calm tensions. Upon reaching the police station, it was seen that a major road had been blocked, preventing vehicular movement. Together with the military, regional police crime officer, NIB operatives, Kenya State Police Commander, we all remained in the police charge office whilst statements were being taken. I went further to call in the Zongo chief of UDM to assist us in calming the situation, and he came. Now, having finalized the handing over of items to the regional crime officer, the Zongo chief volunteered to pick the military officers into his Toyota Sequoia vehicle because the pickup of the military had been tampered with. Now, it continues. It says, I wish to state, the Toyota vehicle of the Zongo chief had its glasses smashed at the back, but then I left to attend another funeral in Totroso, Jedu, and I think it's Wamahinso. I wish to state that under no circumstance will I incite the Youth Against Security Office and any government planned agenda. As a responsible lawmaker, I offered my support to ensure there is calmness in the area, and I will always work together with every security agency to maintain law and order. It is quite unfortunate that the police in their SITREP failed to acknowledge my contribution towards ensuring that calmness prevail. I ask the public to disregard the false narratives aimed at tarnishing my reputation and undermining my efforts to serve any constituent or my constituents. As a member of parliament, I wish to ensure that I remain committed to the welfare and safety of the Ghanaian citizens and other state institutions. So yesterday, the MP for Jirapa was in the studio, and he made a very interesting point. And he said, according to him, look, the presence of the MP at the situation or at the scene, sorry, let me put it that way, rather helped matters, because the young men, including 2 Burkinabes, who had been confronted by the NIMOS team and subsequently arrested and were being taken to Bruni Krum or something, where the police station is. And the fact that there were some guys there who were resisting the arrest, it could have turned bloody, but for the presence of the MP who was there because, he was passing by, he was on his way to funeral, he saw what happened, he wanted to ascertain after talking to Collins Dauda. I mean, you an MP, and maybe you can relate to what Seydou Dapela was saying, that MPs have so much influence over your constituents. So when incidents like this happen and you appear there, you're able to calm tensions. How true is this?
He's my colleague.
Okay.
He's my colleague. His case now is in court.
Okay.
I think he should just...
you mean Ernest Kwekwadu?
Yes. I think he should just concentrate on the court case.
Okay.
You shouldn't be making comments.
You don't sound like you...
No, you shouldn't be making comments. Because, listen, I know the area. So he shouldn't... I just think that he should just keep calm. But first of all, you can't move from Kenya to Achinswa and go through Bruni Krum.
But he had to do that because of the incident.
Dauda says he didn't speak to anybody.
No, he said he
didn't give any instructions.
No, he spoke to the MP and told him that my constituent had called me.
Listen, the MP's presence even emboldened the youth.
Rather?
Yes, read Erastus Dango's report. The MP was insisting that the people who have been handcuffed the handcuffs should be taken off.
That's what, according to Erastus?
Yes.
But is this a fact? Or that's Erastus's claim, isn't it?
Bro.
That's his claim.
I'm saying that...
Because Erastus wasn't there.
I'm saying my brother is a colleague in parliament. His case is now in court. My wish and my advice to him is that he should concentrate on the court case.
You sound like you know more.
He should just concentrate on the court case.
You know more about this story.
He should concentrate on the court case and stop talking too much.
You don't believe him?
I'm saying that my advice is that the speaker has not released him. He went to court yesterday. He's been granted bail. He should concentrate on that.
You mean if he has any other story, if he has any story, he should go and say it in court?
In court. He shouldn't start conflicting himself with a lot of issues. Please. That is my advice to him as a brother.
I see. But of course, I hope you know that his statement came before the court.
I'm saying that he should concentrate on the court case.
You don't want to comment on his explanation or his story?
No.
Okay. Obviously, that's the MP story.
It's important to recognize that the MP put out this statement long before he was arraigned before court.
Yes.
And it's important also to emphasize just the point that investigations are still ongoing and that no firm conclusions have been arrived at. The other thing which also deserves emphasis is the fact that Mr. Collins Dauda was out of country when this matter happened. All we are told is that somebody made a phone call to him whilst he was in South Africa. I'm not so sure whether we know what he said in that phone call. There can be all kinds of speculations, but we don't know. Given these circumstances and the need to be fair to all the parties involved, I think the best advice is to wait for the investigations to be concluded. That's all.
All right, so we'll take a little breather. When we come back, I hinted earlier that we would be broaching a very, very important topic which borders on freedom of speech. And the government is trying to basically sanitize the cyberspace with all kinds of disinformation and misinformation and all kinds of fake news that appears to be, creating a lot of problems for people. And but the minority, who's been led by, not led as in the minority, but there's the MP for Foasia Iribi and a few others in the minority have been very, very unhappy. And with this cyber law, which has been introduced by the government, and in fact, I've heard some cyber, experts and rights groups and so on who have all kicked against it and said the law is going to be a bad one. It's an amendment. It's not a new law. It's just the law already exists. It's going to be amended to make it a bit tighter, and so on and so forth. But and so that's the cyber law, and then there's also misinformation, disinformation law, which has also been looked at. So when we come back, we'll look at that because Uncle C is here. Uncle C has fought for the freedom of expression almost all his life, and so it would be interesting to pick his thoughts on this very, very important subject matter. So please stay with us.
It's become evident to us that there have been two addendums that have changed the contract, handed over fully the entire government infrastructure to this private entity. In fact, an SPV was set up called Smart Infraco that took over all rights of Libara Ghana. Now, I have referred this to the Attorney General for his advice, but the issues we have raised for the Attorney General to advise us on is that the terms of the original contract stated that Libara could not assign more than 20% of their rights to a third party. Now, the current situation is an SPV has been set up called Smart Infraco that has taken over 100% of Libara's rights. The other issue that arises is the fact that when we took over the ministry and there was the need to change passwords for some government agencies, it became clear to me, and unfortunately my Director General for NITA is not here, he's a bit under the weather. NITA had no access to the National Data Center.
Minister, you mentioned that the terms had changed in one breath, and in another breath you also said that they had also amended the main contract. So isn't the change of terms, wasn't it as a result of the amendment of the original contract?
Exactly so, Madam Chair. But again, I leave this for the advice of the Attorney General and the lawyers, that you cannot alter the terms of a parent contract in such a manner that vitiates the intent of the original contract, because the original contract said you could not assign more than 20%. Now you have a situation where you've done an addendum that has taken over the entire rights and handed them over. So again, that's a question for the lawyers to determine if that is legally right and permissible by our laws. But the change in, Mr. Chairman, the answer is very simple in one word: the mismanagement of the economy by the Akufo-Addo administration. Because a lot of the increases, you know, Ghana Post pays a lot of airlines for the transporting of the parcels that we send to Europe and the United States, and we pay that in dollars. So when you saw the mismanagement when Ken Ofori-Atta, Abina, and co were at the finance ministry, and Dr. Bawumia in charge of the economic management team, you then saw that...
Respectfully, Minister, stop it right there. Just go straight to your question and answer, and don't be name calling. You understand? Minister, please answer the question. Oh, when this was there, Oh, Minister, I don't think that is how we should be here. You are here, you have been here before. I have been where you are before.
I'm guided,
Let's just
Chairman.
Go straight to the point.
I'm guided, Chairman.
Thank you.
So in 2023, when the CD depreciated, you realize that because we're paying in dollars, if you were paying a fee of $100 to an airline and the exchange rate was 8, our expenditure would have been 800 cedis. And then when it went to 16 in 2023, you then...
Start your kids' day the right way, filled with confidence to take on any challenge. Pepsodent Kids contains the right amount of fluoride and sugar acid protection to care for their developing gums and teeth. Grab either orange or strawberry so they brush with the sweet flavor they love morning and evening. Pepsodent Kids, giving your children a bright smile for a brighter future.
Me chechi ya woni nara me din e de baby da pa me di ade sonko kra na ebremo nya ode to aduane mo ama waduane e de pa na me de bremo eno any some spices de e bu wa wo bebre o various flavors ubenya e yakoko ubenya nantwie ye de ku jollof mu ma emu ye de ubenya ye de ku nkwan ye de ku froye mu ho na ko pebito na ema waduane enye de unyimi nia ye nkon ye konko tie nya nkofo eka.
Autant de communication, we all enjoy Uduba, the Samu spices.
One in the essence, no time. I'm going to get that. Samu spices in a Samu, daddy so say. Samu spices, Mun Samu.
Samu spices, Nyama chicken.
Samu spices. Nsaka in Ketwa, measure 10 grams. Your chicken, spaghetti, garlic and ginger, stew, can jollof, and the flavors Akufo-Addo bebre.
Samu spices, yes, Saka.
In my line of work, a confident smile is everything. Kel Charcoal toothpaste keeps me on top of my game and ensures my smile is always radiant and bright.
With the tiring nature of my job, we spend several hours under the scorching sun. To keep our teeth white and our breath fresh all the time, we use none other than Kel Charcoal toothpaste. Kel Charcoal toothpaste. You're on a Kessie and in a kit one.
Samayo kendini, who be here, Semetra Sapapadia to Amame Manfo, Kel Charcoal's natural ingredients, and a bomb is several buying, and Maniswing, Nesansu Mama Hoto so a will beg you. Kel Charcoal toothpaste.
Choose Kel Charcoal toothpaste for anti-cavity, whiter teeth, and fresher breath all day. Available in 80 gram and 150 gram. Grab yours today.
Kel, happy smile. This advert is FDA approved.
Kwame and his uncle are almost here.
Wait a minute. This one too, your friend Kwame.
Wait, Kwame. As in the same Kwame again?
Yes, mommy.
The second coming. Into all this tension just to reintroduce that broke boy from Kaswa.
Why would you deceive the family like this again?
Now I understand the whole delay. Troll from Kaswa dear. Why wouldn't he be late? Or be late?
Of course.
Star 712 hush, star 712 hush. Yeah, you go be the luckiest. Coffee from Georgia be luckiest. From not the pure cause she be luckiest. Yeah, you go be luckiest. No matter why you're lucky, everybody go be that luckiest.
That Kwamio!
Send your God the apple boom. If you're poor, what's that? So would the coming of the Son of Man be.
Hey.
Is that his car?
Ha! Even now, your shadow the way designer.
I use my own mouth to reject him. Oh, this is my mouth. Look at that.
Kwame, my son. Now, tell me the truth. How did this all happen?
Oh, mommy, simple direction. Mr. Goodluck no check me well.
Yeah,
man.
Easy kwa. Or dial star 712 hash.
The devil is a liar.
He picked his ticket and entered his lucky 5-digit number.
I'm his birthday.
Oh, how romantic.
And he followed the prompts, yes. And then boom, confirmation test.
One quick, pick 5 numbers for me, okay? I'm feeling like 7.
Dial star 712 hash. Choose your ticket. Enter your lucky number. Follow the prompt and let destiny handle the
You see how they love you now?
Yo, baby, our family can ask me. Before December, may release a motivational album. Patapa, my super.
This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform.
West Africa's soil yields global treasures. Cocoa, cashew, shea, and cotton. They power industries across the world. Yet for our region, the greatest value still slips away, exported raw, taking with it jobs, industries, and the promise of shared prosperity. The real question is no longer what we produce, but who captures the final reward. True prosperity lies in the value we add right here at home. That's why the 4th edition of the EBIT President's Roundtable will gather the architects of Africa's prosperity and Africa's transformation to answer one defining question. How do we finance the journey from the farm to the port? Join Dr. George Ejekum Donkor and some leading experts as EBIT leads a high-level dialogue to unlock financing, empower local industries, and turn West Africa's raw potential into industrial power. Be part of the conversation redefining our economic future, live on Metro TV, DSTV Channel 277, and EBIT platforms on November 24, 2025 at 11 a.m. EBIT President's Roundtable 2025. From the farm to the port, financing the value chains of West Africa's cash crops. My name is Anita Erskine, and it will be an honor to host you.
All right, so you're live on Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. My name is Audu Moro, and I'm here with Mr. Kwesi Pratt Jr., who is a former managing editor of the Insight newspaper, a seasoned journalist, and also an elderly statesman. I'm also here with the Fija Kwabre North MP, Honorable, that's Collins Adomako Mensah. It's actually Collins Adomako Member, the Honorable Member of Parliament for the Fija Kwabre North constituency, and also a former Deputy Minister. So as I did indicate, this government is planning to push ahead with plans to, or government is pushing ahead with plans to amend its Cybersecurity Act, and there's been a growing chorus of dissenting views, voices which is from both opposition parties, civil society, and digital rights experts, and they're demanding a complete rethink of that idea. Now, we're told that there are 2 bills which are going to be presented to Parliament. That's after extensive stakeholder consultation has been done or is complete. Now we're told that we're going to have the information and disinformation bill. So that's one. And we're also going to have the Cybersecurity Amendment Bill 2025. So these are two separate bills that are going to be put before Parliament, and that is making a lot of people very uncomfortable. So let me repeat it. So there are two bills. One is addressing misinformation, disinformation, hate speech, and the publication of other types of information. The other is focusing on Cybersecurity Authority and the amendment issues. Now, when you look at the bill, it seems that the government aims to create a division within the Cybersecurity Authority that will tackle cybercrime and cyberbullying, along with misinformation and disinformation. Now, you look at today's Daily Statesman, and the Daily Statesman is reporting about the GJ, the Ghana Journalists Association, stance on the matter. We're told the president of the Ghana Journalists Association, Albert Kwabena Jumfor, has warned that the proposed amendments to Ghana's cybersecurity bill could undermine press freedom and free expression if passed without broader consultation. Now, speaking during a news conference in Accra to mark the International Day to End Impunity for Crimes Against Journalists, Mr. Jumfor said, while the GJA supports efforts to strengthen the country's cyber framework, the proposed changes must not erode constitutional rights. The news conference sought to mark the International Day to End Impunity for Crimes Against Journalists. It also used the opportunity to address other key matters of national interest, including updates on the Ahmed Swale case, the proposed misinformation, disinformation, hate speech, and publication of offensive materials Bill 2025, and the 29th GJ Media Awards. It says we call for broad engagement, public consultation, and education to fine-tune the bill to ensure that every sector directly impacted understands and marks the needed input into the public interests. He urged lawmakers to avoid rushing the amendment process, saying if what the amendment seeks to cure will worsen the cyber ecosystem, then we must tread cautiously. Mr. Jumfor stressed that the media plays a critical role in Ghana's democracy, and one that attempts to limit its freedom under the guise of cybersecurity reform could weaken accountability and transparency. And he's reaffirming the association's commitment to defending media freedom, saying that GJ and the media will always seek to protect these guaranteed rights and ensure that they are not taken away from us. Now, Kojo Nkrumah, who himself is a journalist and a former information minister, now he's also saying that the government's proposed Cybersecurity Authority and Amendment Bill, if passed in its current form, would also threaten freedom of speech in Ghana. He said it could result in the criminalization of public expression. And he says what is concerning for him is that this could effectively criminalize certain forms of speech. If the government disagrees with someone's expression, that individual could potentially face up to 10 years in jail. The bill states that if you publish or post false information on any social media platform or even a WhatsApp group, you could be imprisoned. Additionally, if you are a media organization, your license could be revoked. Now, he says that the proposed legislation is a dangerous path, stressing that in a democracy, civil or administrative penalties should be used to address misinformation rather than imprisonment. So, let me start with Collins before I come to Mr. Kwesi Jr. I don't know whether you've seen a draft copy of this bill or you've read some aspects of it.
I've listened to it. But, Moro, I don't even know what went into this whole amendment.
There's an emerging online threat. We need to strengthen our digital security infrastructure.
Almost everybody I've listened to, from CSOs, GJ, Kojo Nkrumah, who himself was a former information minister, points to the fact that if we allow this particular amendment to go through, all we are trying to say is that government wants to control what you say at what point in time, at any point in time. That's not what Kwesi Pratt and go for. It cannot be. Why push for a custodial sentence for what somebody has said? For me, it should be at the highest level should be at a civil remedy, where if somebody says something against you and you think the person has defamed you, you go to court at a civil remedies to get for some damages.
But Collins, quite clearly, haven't you realized that the regime, this regime that you are saying we should keep, there are civil and administrative revenues that you can exact. Is it clear that it's not working?
Somebody said something. I prefer ugly noises to the court of silence. It is better to allow everybody to voice out whatever they want to say. If you think you have been defamed on the basis of what the person said, go to court. File a civil suit. The person should to be incur some damages. But to say that don't speak, that becomes a problem. Then where is the democracy? If I don't have the right to express myself how I think it should be done, then there's a problem. Any law that is aimed at custodial sentence, my brother, we should be very careful. Then you make mockery of what Nkwesi fought for all these years. Going to court, being in prison for all these years, just because we could have an opportunity like this today to speak our minds.
Speak responsibly.
But who told you that everything I've said here, the viewers, they agree with everything I said here?
But doesn't make it irresponsible.
They're not getting my point. The viewers, some viewers disagree with me.
No, that's fine.
Disagree with me.
That's how it's supposed to be.
But that's how it's supposed
to be.
It's an
expression of opinion.
But if government on their own can decide, an organization can set a commission or anything, can decide whether what you said is good or bad, then that's a problem.
But doesn't the government of the day also have a responsibility
we can have
ensuring that, of protecting the...
Who decides that what I said was wrong?
Collins, do you disagree with me that fake news and disinformation is in itself is a national security threat?
I don't have any problem with that. I agree with you.
And you don't think that the government has a responsibility?
The solution to that is not to put the person in jail.
Okay.
If you put the person in jail, what you are saying that the person cannot speak. That's what you are doing.
You can speak.
Where?
Not. Nobody can ask you. Nobody can stop you from speaking. But speak responsibly. Speak responsibly.
I don't have a problem with re-sanitizing the system.
Okay.
I don't have a problem. You know, I don't think if this is even...
I'm sure you've been maligned before. I'm sure you've been... All kinds of fake news have been thrown at you before.
Those fake news, I have the right to go to court under civil suit.
Okay.
Yes. But I don't think I should go to court and say, Moro has said something about me. It's wrong, so please put Moro in jail. And if you look at the amendment, they are giving them some powers, like a police. Powers of arrest. Hey, Moro. Now if you speak and you don't speak well, there's a group of people, not police, to come and arrest you. Oh, please. I'm happy we are still in the consultative stage. All this discussion is to help fine-tune the law. When it is laid, I don't know whether it has been laid on the floor. If it does...
No, it hasn't.
Okay. If it comes...
Still the consultative
fantastic. If it comes, there's a stage in the law-making process we call the consideration stage. At that stage, amendments will be raised. And I'm sure everybody will understand, even the government themselves, that is trying to push this through. I'm sure they are listening. The conversation going on. I'm not too sure if anybody has sided with them on this particular amendment. The DJA themselves, Ghana Journalists Association themselves. You know there's some aspect that calls for closure of radio stations and TV stations. Moro, so if I come here and I say something and speak, the commission can come and close Metro TV. What kind of law is that?
The devil is a liar. Obviously.
What kind of law is this?
I don't know whether you've been studying this draft bill or you've just seen aspects of it.
Well,
bits and pieces.
I've read it once.
Right.
And I've read a number of commentaries on the bill. And at the end of that exercise, I thought it was important to alert people in government, that they may not be in power forever. I mean, I don't know of any government in the world which has been in power forever. As usually happens, governments enact laws which eventually catch up with them. And I'll give you a few examples. The Constitution, the 1992 Constitution, gives us unfettered rights to demonstrate, to protest, and so on. The NDC decided to place fetters on those rights and came up with a public order law. At that time, they were in government. In 7 years or so, they came into opposition. And they had to face the very laws that they themselves had enacted, the public order law. The High Court then began stopping protests from the opposition and so on. It could happen with this new legislation. And they ought to be careful. We ought to think in the broader interest of Ghana. The right to free expression is a right which is guaranteed by the Constitution. We should not do anything to undermine it. You see, one of the provisions that I read, which got me very, very alarmed, is the provision which says that if somebody says something or writes something on your platform and it's not true, if you don't take it down within 24 hours, you're liable.
Right.
I mean, on many occasions that things are pasted on our various social handles and so on, that you don't even get to see within 24 hours.
Right.
You will go to prison for that. You understand? Now, the other thing which worries me is simply the fact that we are enacting a law which will make the regulator a police institution. The regulator will have powers of prosecution. And I wonder how that sits with Article 88 of the 1992 Constitution. You understand? And so I think there are major problems. And indeed, all the commentary I've read so far, I haven't read one commentary which supports this bill. Not one. I haven't. If you have, you may tell me. I haven't seen one commentary which supports this bill. In fact, the kindest of the commentaries that I've read are those that say that no, let's halt. Let's look at it well because there's a problem. But the other commentaries that actually completely condemn this as being draconian and so on. So I think we need to rethink. It is not comfortable. It's not comforting. Look, the Ghana Journalists Association and virtually all the media organizations have come up and said this is dangerous. I think we have to stop and reconsider, you know.
Okay. Let me look at a few messages that have come through, and I would then get on with some other issues that are of national interest. So I'll start with this one. So Mansa Musa, who's watching us all the way from the UK, says that Moro, the MP Abena Hosea Asari's presence in the park sittings is bad enough. She actually being that chairperson of Parliamentary Probing Committee on Public Finances, rather making mockery of accountability, seeking desires of our governance systems. She shouldn't be there, let alone sit in command of proceedings at a time when accountability processes in her deputy governorship at the Finance Ministry has not concluded. Someone in the system must do the needful and get her removed as a chairperson of PAC until after she's been cleared of all suspicions now circulating about the poor management of the economy by the previous government. Good morning from Mansa Musa of Voice of London in Voice of London Radio in the UK. Now, Emmanuel Parijan, good to hear from you. I think he's the managing editor of, is it Inquisitor? I believe so. Yes, a very long time. So he sent me a press release. It says for immediate release, and 31st October 2025, Pring Park raises concerns over proposed misinformation, disinformation, hate speech, and publication of other information, MDHI. Now, the Private Newspapers and Online Newspapers Publishers Association of Ghana, Pring Park, wishes to express its deep concerns regarding the proposed misinformation, disinformation, hate speech, and publication of other information bill currently under consideration by the government of Ghana. While we acknowledge the growing challenges posed by misinformation, disinformation, hate speech in our media and digital space, Pring Park is of the firm belief that the proposed bill lacks clarity in its purpose and necessity. It remains unclear what specific gap in the current legal framework the bill seeks to address or what mischief it intends to cure. Ghana's existing legal architecture, including the 1992 Constitution, the Defamation Act, the Criminal Offences Act, and the Electronic Communications Act already provides robust mechanisms to safeguard privacy, promote responsible speech and prohibit hate speech. Additionally, the media industry, through institutions such as the National Media Commission, the Ghana Journalists Association, and PRINCPAC itself, has developed comprehensive codes of ethics to guide professional conduct. The real challenge lies not in the absence of the laws, but in their enforcement. Implementation has often been selective and politically motivated, undermining the rule of law and press freedom. History has shown that even without such a bill, journalists have faced intimidation and arrest for fulfilling their constitutional duty to hold power to account. The potential for abuse under the bill is significant, especially if wielded by individuals or regimes with little regard for democratic principles. We caution that any legislation must be resilient against misuse by future governments, particularly those that may not uphold the rule of law. The MDHI bill in its current form appears vulnerable to manipulation and could become a tool for suppressing dissent and curtailing freedom of speech or free speech. PRINCPAC is currently reviewing the contents of the proposed bill and will provide a comprehensive response at appropriate time or appropriate forum. However, we feel compelled to make these interim remarks and urge the government to suspend further action on the bill until broader consultations are held with stakeholders across the media, civil society, and legal communities. We remain committed to promoting responsible journalism and protecting the integrity of Ghana's democratic discourse. Let us strengthen existing frameworks rather than introduce legislation that risks undermining the freedoms we have fought hard to secure. Signed, David Tamaklo, President, PRINCPAC, and he puts his number there. David Tamaklo of the I think the Republic newspaper. Yes, I think so. Oh, okay. So he's a Daily Democrat. Oh, Emmanuel Parijan is. Oh, okay, Daily Democrat. Thank you very much for that quick correction, Desmond. Thank you, Desmond of the Catalyst newspaper. Thank you very much for that correction. Now, Simons, who's the managing editor of the Accra Times, he says, "Good morning, bro. The speaker has assured the country that he won't shield any MP from the rule of law. So let's pray and wait for the outcome of the police investigation and see what will happen afterwards." Now, Carl in Accra says, "Good morning, Moro. In case a state of emergency issue comes up, people would like to know what the implications are when a state of emergency is declared. What is the negative impact on the population?" Well, you don't want to imagine. A state of emergency has very far-reaching social, economic, and political consequences. It's state of emergency means state of emergency. Nothing moves, nothing happens, you know. Freedoms would definitely be curtailed. Freedom of movement and all kinds of freedoms will be curtailed. That's a state of emergency. You don't want to imagine it. Alhaji Hamza from Pig Farm says that, "Good morning, my brother. In fact, I'm particularly happy that under this government, the rule of law is allowed to work unlike before. An allegation is being leveled against a member of parliament. Quickly, the CID moves to invite him for investigations, and it's now before the court. What is more than this? My brother, you remember the report of Professor Frimpong Boateng, what happened to it? No single person was invited for questioning because it was party big men were involved. Now one can see the difference between the NDC and the NPP. So the NPP should stop using this issue as a World Cup because they have no moral right to do when it comes to the fight against Galamsey." Sani Salihu says there's a vast striking difference between solving Galamsey and the JM and that of Akufo-Addo. JM swiftly does it and doesn't care whose ox is God from within, but Akufo-Addo conceals and shields the wrongdoings of his own, no matter how glaring or revealing it is. If those Galamseyers use some chemicals to extract some gold from the tailings, then this isn't Galamsey. Tailings are the unwanted products from the gold extract, and those doing proper mining go through these processes. The fact that these president allows the appropriate institutions to act decisively, it ought to be commended. My regards to Venerable Kwesi Pratt. That's from Sani Salihu. Now, Papa BCU sends a message, says, "Greetings to you, especially Uncle Kwesi Pratt. Tell Collins not to be that smart in trying to shield our country from the election violence. And thanks to you and Uncle Kwesi for correcting the wrong. And on Galamsey, of importance, His Excellency John Mahama didn't shield the MP in question, unlike Nana-Addo, who safely came to defend Wontumi. Take note, the MP is facing prosecution under his own government. The difference is crystal clear of a better governance under J. And Papa BCU sends this one from Spintex in Accra. Now, Master Planner from Kintampo says, "9 months for Mpo na Galamsey for ehunehuna emu na blue water guards." Hey, Charlie, so it is the President Muhammad should collapse the blue water guards to save the taxpayers' money. Galamsey are buying Abba. DNP delegate. Dr. Bawumia is number 3 on the ballot paper, Master Planner, Junior Policy Analyst in Kintampo. Now, Prosper Ashikwe says, Moro, most journalists in Ghana are politicians who hide their identities. They most often power political agenda. Simple. Case closed. So we call it pronto. Pronto. Samuel Brabambi says that the cybersecurity space that President Akufo-Addo nurtured to offer voice to the voiceless with the birth of blogging and unrestricted user-generated content. Instead of you to build upon it, Idi Amin is now seeking to suppress dissent and free speech. Now President Mohammed is the enabler saying we should listen to the other side. Did they listen to the other side when Frimpong Boate's report of lies and hatred was published? We now know the real kingpins of Galamsey. I thought they would have stopped after we tragically lost 8 of our compatriots, but it is now clear they could not be bothered. Mr. Mahama lacks the political will to confront this nation-wrecking enterprise. Samuel Brabo, from Awishi, sent that message. Okay, so Reverend Jones Latte sends this one from the UK as well. It says, good morning. Can you tell me what happened from the investigation of the vetting of the ministers' war? What happened to the Muntutu and Muntiti? Reverend, please throw some more, clarify that a little bit. Is Kwesi Pratt talking about one small mosquito? We have something like this in Ga, Esha, or something like that. Okay. Oh, God, there's too many messages. I'm not sure I'll be able to read everything. So, Mr. Wanda Avoka, inside in Swami Georgie, said a credible John Dramani Mahama will always allow the law to prosecute his own party members, unlike the incompetent, nepotistic, corrupt, blah, blah, blah government which failed Ghanaians catastrophically. And now, the tried and tested President John Mahama is resetting Ghana. This same hypocrites are all over making noise. Never again to this nation-wrecking group that's coming from him. Musa Batwa from Masawasi says, I'm highly impressed with the approach government has adopted to ensure the rule of law is fully functioning. The Speaker of Parliament has made it clear that he won't shield anybody. If you are caught by the other side of the law, you'll be dealt with. This is a positive step towards strengthening our democratic values. Indeed, we're seeing positive results in the fight against Galamsey. My regards to the Chief of Staff, Julius Debra. That's Musa Abatwa in Asawase. Okay. So Mr. Edi Mukhtar says, good morning. If in the first place, those who perpetrated the financial infractions and misappropriation must be the ones Honorable Abena Oseasari should be questioning, but not to these new officers who knows not much about the same. With all due respect, Honorable Abena should recuse herself from the PAC committee. It is so ridiculous listening to her poor line of questioning targeting her own political opponents based on hatred. All right, so these are the messages that I've received. Quite a number of them. I can't read all, but before we go, let's use the next 5 minutes to look at an issue. Collins, what's happening with this whole talk about Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia being an outsider? He should be lucky that in 2008 he was made a running mate. I mean, there were many people like the late, what's the name? The chief, what's the name? There were people like Boniface Abubakar Sadiq, the former GFA boss, I've forgotten his name, the late Jawula, you know, the former MD of Metro TV, Al-Hassan Haruna, all of them were there. There was Alima, Alima Mahama. I hope I got the name correctly. At the time, about 5 or 6 or so. But all these people were bypassed. And Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who at the time we're told was not even an NPP card-bearing member, was given the position as a running mate. He's been running mate for 8 years, been vice president for 8 years, and so he should be lucky. He's been the party has given him his due, and so he should be lucky that a foreigner was made a running mate. And so why does he want to become president? According to the Asante Achim South MP, who has subsequently issued a statement to say that he was misquoted, he was misconstrued, or he was misreported. Then we saw your very good friend, who's the MP for this young lawyer, what's the name? Vincent Kwasefwa. He's issued a statement, and apparently that statement has all of he's actually the secretary to the Ashanti Caucus of Parliament, MPP Ashanti Caucus in Parliament, saying that you are condemning what the man has said and you ask him to apologize. What do you know about this issue? This Bawumia is a foreigner matter. In fact, in that statement, he even goes beyond saying that he should be lucky that others were there, been serving the party for a long time when he was giving. In fact, in that statement, Vincent Asefwa goes ahead to say that he had heard that Mr. Boateng, who's Asante Achem MP, Asante Achem South, is saying that history sees the man, the MP, history tells him that there are some people who are from certain parts of this country who are supposed to be servants. They can never be leaders. And so Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia should stay somewhere and forget about a flag bearer she brings. I mean, I'm sure you've heard all kinds of things. What do you make of this? First of all, are you a signatory to the statement by Vincent Assefa?
But first of all, let me just take it from this angle. Why is this comment coming up now? Okay. It's just because of our impending presidential primaries.
Right.
It's as simple as that. And I've said on several platforms that members of the party must be very, very careful what we say during this campaign. I have my candidate, but I don't think I go out there to denigrate other candidates. Because at the end of the day, the party has to find a way of coming together to achieve a certain purpose. When I heard the comment from my senior colleague, MP for Asante Achem South, is it South?
Asante Achem South, yes.
Yes. I was surprised. Well, I know him. I meet him quite often. We have discussions sometimes on the floor of Parliament. I meet him in the corridors of Parliament. We have discussion. And I was clearly very, very surprised. Now, Mo, let me ask, at what point did he realize that Dr. Bawumia was a foreigner? Moro.
Right.
At what point? When did he realize that Bawumia was a foreigner? When Bawumia came to his constituency to campaign alongside him, he was standing by Bawumia and they were campaigning. What was Bawumia then? Was he a foreigner then?
Did he say foreigner?
Yes.
Did he say foreigner?
He said he didn't say so.
Yes.
Bankwesi, what did he say? If Boro can tell me what he said, or what he meant by what he said, I'll be very happy. He said Bawumia is an outsider.
The outsider is not a foreigner.
I want to look for his statement.
But Bankwesi, outsider, what is he trying to say? That Bawumia is not part of the party, and that he just came into the party and he's been given a certain position.
Is that not a fact?
What's the fact about it?
When did he join the party?
But Bankwesi, if it's about when somebody joins the party, I became a card-bearing member in 2000.
Yes.
Yes. But I'm a member of parliament.
So if somebody calls you a newcomer, why would you take a
No, Bankwesi, if you say that because I am a newcomer, so I cannot lead the party, that's wrong. Then I should not be a member of parliament for the good people of Evida Kwabere.
But that's his view.
But I disagree with his view. That's the point I'm making.
Okay, when you finish.
I disagree with his view.
When you finish.
I have people in my constituency who joined the party in 92. But I'm leading them now in parliament. Does it matter? Party? Does it matter? And I heard him make some comments that Bawumia's mother is a woman organizer at Wale for NDC.
Let me read this portion of his statement. During the discussion, he's talking about the discussion where he made those comments. I drew an analogy rooted in Asante chieftaincy traditions to explain a very clear political principle: leadership in the NPP is earned through service, sacrifice, and long-standing commitment, especially in the most difficult moments of our party's history. Well, that was the essence of my point.
Don't worry, I've read that statement.
In that context, I referenced the political tragedy of the Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia in 2008, although he was not a member of the NPP. That's what he says. At the time, he was granted a special waiver and brought into the party for a specific strategic purpose.
So what?
Yeah, that's what he says.
So what? So he cannot lead the party? So those who were born in 2000, who are now 25 years, or those who were born who are now 18 years, they can't join the party?
Oh, but they cannot lead.
I came into the party, I became a card-bearing member in 2000.
The constitution says that you have to be 40 and above to become a president.
I'm not talking about presidency.
So if you were actually born in 2000,
I'm not talking about presidency.
You cannot lead the party.
I'm not talking about presidency. I'm saying I joined the party card-bearing member in 2000. But I'm the member of parliament. I became a member of parliament in 2021. There are people in my constituency who joined the party in 92. I am saying that Asante analogy that he gave, Okophobia, Befiese, Omesom, those were the words. papa ko phobia be fi so omeso adidi aba e say dem a wo fa say dem nipa na obeso ye no. Is that how to campaign?
Okay.
How does that inure to the benefit of your candidates?
Well, just 3 minutes. So
Boss, can I?
If we can, yes, obviously.
You see, there are a number of things that this debate argument has revealed, which must be very, very troubling for all those in the New Patriotic Party. And Collins, I hope you are listening to me.
I'm listening to you. Okay.
What has not been said about Kennedy Japan? What has not been said about Brian Achampong? What has not been said by all those who are contesting? How many times has the party general secretary, the party machinery, issued a statement in defense of any of them? That's the troubling aspect. Why is it that when Dr. Bawumia is criticized or unfairly attacked and so on, the party machinery finds it necessary to come to his defense? But when Brian Achampong is attacked, the party machinery shies away from defending him. There's a problem here. There's a clear problem here that the party machinery is biased in favor of a certain candidate. That's the problem. Okay?
Okay.
Besides that, why? Everybody is entitled to his views. If people think that leadership of an organization must be dependent on how long one has served in the organization, is there a problem? That's his view. What's the problem? I disagree with him.
Okay.
But that is his view. What is the problem with that?
All right.
You understand?
We have
and then there's a twisting of words. You know, a stranger is not necessarily a foreigner. You understand?
Right.
But whatever he says is then translated to mean that he said that Dr. Bawumia is a foreigner. He didn't say that.
If you say that you can find Bafie, sa omeson, Adidiaba, and Seko of Faso, Idiamano, who be Baba Sumufia, who is the person?
No, it has nothing to do with foreigner. It has to do with lineage.
All right. Our time is up. Our time is up, unfortunately. So, Mr. Kwesi Pratt, thank you very much for your time, and also Collins Aduma Comensa, thanks for your time. My name is Audu Moro. Assalamu alaikum. Have a good day.
This Wednesday on Titans and Trailblazers, the institution also keeps an eye on the CEO brand, or is it the CEO's job alone to manage their brand? What are your thoughts on that?
You can't do it alone. Your job is not to run social media. Your job is to double the output. Your job is to increase the number of employees and so forth. So you can't be an expert again on managing your online brand. So the marketing team should actually have a budget whereby they need to brand their CEO so that he or she becomes the voice. So we pick ourselves up. If things don't go according to plan, we redo, we retry until it works. It becomes a lesson for us.
What was all this drama of coming to my class late today?
I told you I'm pregnant. What are you doing about it?
I said, Abado, why make up so?
Hey, what police are being teaching you? Shall we Phoebe? Shall not say I pass our bravo?
But why are you saying that?
That girl is a charlatan. It's a wolf in a sheep's clothing. A prostitute in disguise.
Abaya come so. Na bla ubo college mu ha eye.
My friend said if she come and come. Sister na me ko bomb pie. Don't come and spoil my spiritual mood for me.
But you the other time the running way Charlie I take come no you chop am. My food no.
Do you know how hungry I was that day?
For no say if you running there. If I bring am no for no.
One more thing. I will embark on a project like 1 boy, 3 girlfriends.
Then, I dare you to date Maud for weeks.
I will get that.
You go get you.
I will get that.
So we can't sit here more than 1 hour or close to 1 hour. If you only ask Sabi, I go fit up.
You know my friend, Alpha. Well, he wants to go on a date with you.
You're kidding, right?
No, I'm serious.
No. I'm not
Listen.
I'm just hoping this will continue forever.
This is forever and ever.